Liberator's going to wrap around the back here, and it doesn't seem like Lambo's quite reacting in time, so he's going to lose at least 2 or 3 drones.
Yeah, and there's no Spore Crawler here as well, so you have to move that Queen slowly around the back of this gas here, find an angle to hit it, but then of course it's going to move. So this is taking a lot of the eco away from Lambo, the mining time, as well as 6 drones going down.
Okay, so he sets up the Liberator over here. Actually, Lambo gets everything out pretty perfectly. It's been 6 kills so far. Bunny can't get much else done. There's no way for this Liberator to really go anywhere else. We've got 8 roaches now, 10 roaches on the way, so a lot more roaches as this game's going to ramp up. There should be an opportunity for Lambo to try to hit this 3rd base that's landing over here.
Yeah, he's not made any drones for a while now, just holding that roach key. He's definitely going to look for a big time in as his roach speed finishes up probably. Adding a couple more drones in, but I don't think he'll be making too many more. These aren't just a few defensive roaches. He's made a lot of them. He's morphing Ravagers here. This is going to be an attack with a big Ling follow-up as well, as they get across the map quickly.
Okay, so will Bunny be ready for this attack? I mean, Roach Ravager, it is a bit of a power spike for the Zerg, right? This is a moment where, like, and you can't be on Roach Ravager forever, right? It's kind of this tech that lets you really bully in the mid-game, like right when Terran's trying to ramp up. And Terran's actually pushing, and like when you see 2 people push in the middle of the map, one of you is wrong, and in this case, I think Bunny is making a mistake.
I definitely agree with you. If he gets caught across the map here, he might be in a world of trouble. One Marine will see these roaches. Clutch scout there by Bunny, sending a single unit down to just check if anything's coming, and there is a lot coming right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is bad because the tanks are going to get caught in the middle of the map. This one tank that sieges is going to get biled down. Zerg could literally run up into the main here. I don't even think that would be a bad idea, actually. Just ignore the push that's coming back to try to fight you. He could wrap around instead. Now, he's getting surrounded a little bit, but the problem is I think there's so much Zerg here. I don't think any of these tanks or infantry are safe. This is catastrophic right now here for Bunny.
The tanks are so exposed they go down instantly, and there's only Bio remaining. The Roach Ravager getting on top of all this now, doing as much damage as it can. 21 SCVs fall. Lambo looking in control of game 1 right now. The SCVs forced to pull once again.
Yeah, the SCVs are taking so much damage. 24 have been killed. I don't know that Bunny is going to last long in this game. The tank count was reset. The command center is going to have to lift off. And I think he could wind up for another big attack over here into the natural.
I mean, there's only 1 tank in production right now, and I mean, if Lambo has the high ground vision, which we see he does with the Overseer, actually that might get sniped there a little bit too close. So he's going to have to try and find that tank without that. The Marines actually start stepping forward, very brave, into the Roach Ravager here. The SCV's pulled, sent back again, but there's just too much Zerg right now. Lambo Supply eclipsing Bunny here as he looks to close out game number 1. All the Marines fall in, all the SCVs going down. The Roach count is actually thinning out here, but there's still more reinforcing with more Lings.
I mean, this is 30 SCVs to 57 drones. And it's going to be, a mix back in with Roach, Ravager, Ling. There's going to be so many Ravagers. I think the only way Terran could survive would be like perfectly positioned tanks that the Ravagers can't get. But I don't think that he has enough tanks to kind of chain them together to cover everything.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lambo bring another Overseer over here just so he can get that high ground vision. But
oh yeah, good point.
He may not need it as this tank's actually on the low ground. Is going to get biled instantly. The SCV is pulled once more. The Marine count is starting to thin here. Bunny on his last legs, it looks like.
Yeah, GG. Game 1 goes to Lambo. I don't know why Bunny was on the map. The quote that I gave there is actually one I heard Artosis say, but it's so true.
That looks like an impression.
When you see 2 armies moving in the middle of the map, to me, one of them is wrong. There's no like, like in the American, like the old days, like where both sides would get like riflemen and they like meet somewhere and they point at each other and shoot at each other.
Yeah.
And obviously that's it's a completely illogical way to wage warfare. That's like what we saw Bunny doing. If you see Roaches and Ravagers at all, you should not move out. Now, maybe he missed that. I don't know. I thought he saw Roaches
I
hatching.
thought he saw a Roach as well, but maybe he didn't, or maybe he thought they're just defensive Roaches to deal with the Hellions. But
yeah, it could be.
It seemed, I think when he spotted it, it looked a little bit late for that, though. So I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure he knew what Lambo was doing, and I think those kind of builds are so popular in the meta right now, these Roach Ravager pushes. I mean, Rogue's done that so many times in recent ZVTs. I think you really have to be on the lookout for this kind of all-in the mid-game.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was not an appropriate time to move out. The third base hadn't been there for very long.
Yeah.
And I don't even think was there a fourth base in that game? Actually, don't know for Zerg. Was there?
For Zerg, wait, did he have the hatchery? I was focused so much on Bunny that I don't actually remember. But
okay, well, either way, it didn't look like he had like an obvious target to push.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, the attack was the wrong time to attack, basically.
Yeah, I like the single Marine he sent. I just think he should have done that first.
Yeah.
Before his army actually moved out. And then if you see like 20 roaches running across the map, you just keep your tanks home.
Yeah. Well, it's also like we see Terrans lose when all the tanks are at home and they're well placed.
Yes.
And that's like him running back. It's like, okay, well, this is probably not going to go well. Anyways, we're here in Game 2. Lambo up with a 1-0 lead in this best of 5. And let's see what exactly we're going to have here from Bunny and Lambo. I think Bunny had like a perfectly fine opener, and the harass was fine too. He got like 6 or 7 drones or something like that. But the push just didn't make any sense. He clearly was operating on bad intel and seemed to think that there was some moment to come and punish the Zerg when the reality is the Zerg was actually coming to try to end the game. So we'll need to see Bunny scout a little bit better this time around.
Yeah, there's always a bad feeling when you go for a like eco-focused build. You go like CC first, for example. You kind of macroing up, everything's going good. Like you say, you get some harassment done, you kill some workers, and then you finally decide to leave your base, and that's the moment you get hit by the all-in.
Right.
That really feels bad. So, yeah, I feel Bunny's pain on that one, but if you can just clean up the scouting a bit more and then, ban down the hatches if it happens again.
Right.
It is holdable for sure.
Okay, so we're going to be off to another fairly slow start here. This is Tech probably into a front-loaded expansion from Terran. Zerg, we always have to wait a little bit to kind of see what the the tech reveal is going to be. This is a map where you're kind of close together. It's hard to really have some bases. Some maps give Zerg bases that are several of them are just hard to push. Right, Zerg can kind of play keep away from the Terran. Which in a lot of games, that's kind of what Zerg wants to do, is basically just be far enough away that they can tech into what they want and then come in and punish later on. But this is going to be a map where maybe Zerg is going to be enticed to try to do that Road Ravager style again. When you're in close proximities, that's a lot of times a good way to play the game, kind of go for that battle Zerg style.
Yeah, and I just think that style is really strong right now as well in general. Kind of on a lot of maps, like you say, especially on shorter maps. It is a reprofiting this time, so he will be here to annoy the units, but Lambo got his queens out very early here, going for that slightly quicker pull, and he won't need the lings to defend this. Just the queens alone are enough here. Going for his third queen now and the third hatchery, and you were talking about the bases before. One feature of taking this third base is that it's very easy to hit it from the other side with tanks, right? Like you can position your tanks on that other side and you can just shell the mineral line. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye out if there is that kind of tank push. If Lambo's going to be the aggressor, obviously won't play as much of an impact. But let's see how things unfold as we do see a very early third CC and double Hellion production on the way right now.
I mean, this looks a lot like the previous game. We'll see if it is going to be Viking into Liberator tech. But in a lot of ways, this game seems to mirror Game 1.
Yeah, right now it does. Lambo's going for roaches again. He's got that roach warren on the way. And I like the idea last time, like get the Viking, clear out all the vision, and then Liberator harass. So Lambo doesn't know it's coming, kind of spawns in time to deal with it. I thought that was pretty smart, and it worked decently well. This game, there's obviously no Liberators on the way. Yet, anyway. We do have the Viking, so he could go for something similar. Will he commit to sending the Hellions this time? It's actually
nice.
Fully walled. Wow.
Yeah, nicely done. Just going to lose some HP on those Hellions. This is not an easy third base to have early on. It's a very, very punishable. Is he going to cancel one of these?
I think he'll cancel it. This is really smart, by the way, because he's been very greedy. He didn't make any Zerglings at all. So Hellion run-by has become a lot scarier.
That's a good point.
And the only way you can really stop them getting in your mineral line is with that wall. So Lambo being ready for that is actually really sick. With the double Evo chamber, and then he wants to get one of them anyway for that armor upgrade, probably. So I really like that play from Lambo.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you made, Sturgeon, that like he's really, really greedy, like powering up with these drones. And that's a great way to play instead of having to, one way to think about Zerg and how they have to operate is any one unit you make, unless it's a queen, by the way, but if you're making like a roach, then that's not a drone.
Right.
If you're making a drone, it's not a roach, right? And so how you economize the larva is so important. So if you're able to just like not make 4 roaches at the start and make 4 more drones, that's so much more money that's going to come in. And then to simply use that Evo chamber as a defense, you're basically getting all those extra drones out, all for the cost of 1 canceled Evo chamber, which is like, I don't even know what that is, but it's low.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is one of the maps where you can just wall that that entrance with the 3 buildings there. So it makes a lot of sense to play like that on this map specifically. This Overlord trying to morph into an Overseer to get out.
So annoying.
It actually will get away. The Queen is here to ensure safe passage. But I mean, that costs you something still, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's super annoying there for the Terran. He did go for 3rd CC, right? So,
yeah.
You know, and by the way, you see the Ravager eggs. That should be the biggest tell, right? These are not defending Hellions. Now, he's going to land the 3rd CC regardless, right? You don't turn the CC around for that. But this should, you know, basically going off what we saw in Game 1, Terran should not push here.
Right.
Because now you need to know what your role is. I am not the attacker. I'm the defender.
Yeah, and he sees this coming way in advance with his Viking. Got to be careful not to lose it. Okay, and he is paying attention. Nice little move there. But he has complete vision of this. There's no anti-air with this army, apart from the Biles. So let's see. Let's see. He does lift his 3rd CC. He's going to reposition it to the horizontal base. I actually like that. You can still drop some mules over there if you want to. But Lambo's going to be trying to make this happen. 59 workers, a ton of Roach Ravager, and a Changeling.
Yeah, so he went for the 3rd base that's like tucked all the way up at the top. Now the problem is that he's basically separated from this. The 2 Hellions are going to come in here. They're going to get a couple drone kills, maybe 4. Yeah, just barely that. He's going to dive in. He does take out the tank.
Yeah, he does. He's droning behind this as well with an infestation pit. So this isn't necessarily meant to kill Bunny. Just kill all the depots, get any tanks that you can, any free units, deny the Terran from mining at the 3rd base, while you go up to a 4-base economy here and try to get Hive Tech on the way, maybe transition into Roach Ravager Lingbane. That's the goal here from Lambo. And it's difficult for Bunny to sniff that out. Like, am I being all in here, or is this like a Roach Ravager kind of pressure?
Yeah, yeah. There's that Hive Tech. The Infestor's being made here as well. You know, right now that command center is basically just sitting up there. It might have been better served actually being back at home, you know, and making SCVs, because right now it's just floating. So you're not getting, you know, obviously you're not mining with that, but you're also not getting the benefit of the SCVs that could have been cranked out of there. So he's going to land here at the standard 3rd base location. Zerg's already backed up.
Yeah, so the pressure is over here. Lambo's drone behind this. He's up to 69 workers right now. He's got his Infestor. It was kind of ice skating for a moment there. It looked kind of funny. There is a drop down here, which may pick off this Queen if it doesn't come back soon. Okay, never mind. Lambo does send it back. Dotting his I's and crossing his T's there. Good Zerg fundamentals there. Send the Queen back after you drop the tumor. Very nice. This double drop will be annoying though, because there's nothing that shoots up right now.
Yeah, like this is just going to be able to roam here. He's going to try to target down this 1 Queen. Good defense here from Lambo. Lambo, by the way, about to get to that supply spike here. He's going to max out. And that there is a point where when you go for Roach Ravager, you max out, and you actually want to dump supply in fights and see if you can trade out. And this is really where the power struggle happens. It's kind of the climax of a TVZ from the Zerg's perspective is can you actually kind of grapple the Terran down, take out their tanks, get them small enough that you can maybe come in here and wipe the 3rd base out. And meanwhile, Bunny is going to push.
Yeah, I think he has to do something. There's Ultras on the way and Microbial Shroud, so Lambo's army will be insane if he's allowed to grow for a couple minutes.
It's kind of a weird fungal. It hit the medevacs and not the infantry. Kind of the opposite of what you want there. There's a drop over here at the 4th base, but right now Lambo is in pursuit, and there's not enough medevacs to pick up everything over here.
Yeah, enough roaches to deal with this attack. Only a few drones going down. Lambo's playing so good right now. The tanks are not sieged. He needs to get those sieged ASAP. Okay, he does manage to in time, but I mean, he's only just now starting his 4th CC. I think Lambo's in a very good position going into this late game as long as the drops don't do too much damage here.
Yeah, and the Marines are going to come up now. He is going to basically gun down 1 Queen, maybe get the 2nd one over here. Actually doesn't get that one. How crazy is that? So, what is Bunny going to be able to do here? Because now we have that Ultra Tech up. We have 3 Ultralisks about to hatch. We're going to get Banelings here, too. I mean, really, Lambo's mixing in all the right ingredients to have a possible killing blow come up here.
Yeah, when these Ultralisks first come out, there's going to be a ton of Microbial Shrouds available. This is going to be an insanely hard-hitting timing with the Microbial Shrouded Ultras. They're going to take no damage at all. With the Kindness plating, with the armor upgrades. We also see Adrenal on the way, Aspire as well, just for those late-game Corruptors if you need them, or even potentially Broodlords, but probably not just yet. So I really like Lambo kind of rounding out his tech tree here. Oh, you can't lose this before the upgrade's done. Bunny targets the cavern and it's gonna go down.
Oh my God, Kindness plating denied.
That is a huge pickoff.
That was like the final thing that he needed. And 2-2 is about to finish here for Bunny. I feel like Lambo probably still has to come out here and try to attack, though, right?
How many Ultras did he make before that went down? We did see the one in the main.
I saw at least 3 that were made in the production tab earlier. Yeah, 3
okay, he's
total.
got 3 Ultras. Yeah, I mean, maybe you can still go for it. With Microbial Shroud, they are going to provide a good front line, but...
This was supposed to hit when Kindness plating was done.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this was all leading up to, so that's kind of crazy. The Spire is going to finish. And, Terran is going to get this 4th base. The position's a little boxy. It's not going to be very easy to come in here and hit this. He is hitting on the left side with some roaches, but that seems to be more of a diversion because the real target's going to be up here at 12 o'clock. So he's going to have all these units ready to go. Microbial Shroud. There is one Widow Mine. He's got to be careful. This is actually a lot more infestors than I thought he was going to have here.
Oh, he has so many. There's going to be so many fungals and Microbial Shrouds available. But just not having the Ultra count exactly where you want it and not having Kindness plating, I feel like it kind of means that Lambo can't go just now, but he actually stayed on a low drone count. We see he's only on 67. This is not like a late game drone count, it's not 90 or in that area where you can kind of play a really, really late game. So he either needs to add more drones. Okay, we do see him now. Okay, I think now he's going to commit to playing like a longer game, even though I don't think he wanted to.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, we're in a very different spot here. I think Bunny could be in a better position here if he can make this game last a little bit longer. We haven't had the moment where he's really used the Ultras yet, right? He's kind of jockeyed for a good position to try to hit, and he hasn't really found that yet. It's a pretty turtled position here for Bunny. Now, Bunny's moving out with a push here on the right side of the map.
Yeah, I think if he does move out, Lambert can still go for a fight. He has added a bunch more CCs, 3 on the way right now. He's only mining on 4 currently, so I feel like Lambo doesn't have to do anything for the moment. But if the army's out here on the map, why not fight it? Good micro here, making sure you don't lose a ton of infestors or links to these Widow Mines. Kindness plating is finally almost done here in 5 seconds. So let's see if Lambo is going to choose this as his moment to be aggressive, or if he wants to play a bit longer, get more bases, and try to deny Bunny's mine later.
Yeah, now he's coming up here, and I mean, he's going to take this hatch out. Beautifully done. Lambo in kind of a tough spot for the time being.
There's so many Marauders there.
I know.
Such a Marauder heavy drop.
Ooh, this is huge. He's just going to be able to blast this down. Well, kind of almost backs out. Now, if he just gets a pickup, he can... Oh, my God. The fungal was absolutely crazy. So right now, we've had 2 hatcheries poked out in a minute. 3-3 is done for Terran. Lambo, sitting not only on a maxed out army, but on a lot of minerals and a lot of gas. So, we haven't had Lambo with the army trade out yet. And part of that might be because Terran's on these 4 bases. There's like no really easy area to attack into. It almost feels like he has to stretch the game out for Terran to have to expand into a spot that is then also going to be a weakness where he can try to strike it over and over.
Yeah. Also, Terran being on 4 bases isn't the end of the world, If they have like 6 or 7, you have to do something. But you can't let them just mine out their side of the map. Their units will be more efficient over time. But once he takes a 5th and a 6th, I think Lambo will look to be more aggressive. There's 4 orbitals here, which is pretty insane. He's going to start moving those out. And Lambo has his army split into 2 right now, so he may be looking to hit 2 places at once or get a pincer mover going as he gets a huge fungal on all these medevacs. The Ultralists engage here. Going to take out some units. The tank line is pretty deep. There's Liberators here as well. Some Marauders, ton of medevacs, but here come the Corruptors.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to day 2 of season 6 of the RSL. I'm Tasteless, and joined with me is Sturgeon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, dude. I woke up at 6 a.m. today to watch England win in the World Cup, so I'm feeling good. And now it's time for some StarCraft. Doesn't get any better than that, man.
At 6 p.m. you'll be watching Maru win tonight. We've got an amazing group for you guys here today. Interesting. Day 1, by the way, we did have Cyril advancing. Super excited to have him here in the RSL.
Yeah, big day for the RSL. Cyril's kind of first run. Doesn't drop a game, unsurprisingly. Goes through into the playoff stage already. Beyond the other player to join him there. Today we got 2 Zergs, Rogue and Solar, as well as our first Protoss of this season, Nightmare, and the Terran Goat Maru. Yeah,
I mean, this should be one of these groups where Maru advances, but it probably won't be easy. Both Solar and Rogue are looking extremely strong. And let's see what Nightmare can do. I'm also excited to see some Protoss games here today and kind of unpack the state of the game. We've had some pretty big changes. Obviously, the biggest is the worker change, but there's been some major patch updates as well. So, we'll kind of see where all the pieces land as the tournament continues to develop. If you want to join us live, we are on every Saturday and Sunday. We go live at 6 p.m., so we're starting just 1 hour earlier. And, of course, our finals are going to be at BlizzCon. Artosis and I will be casting that for you guys. But if you want to follow the entirety of the tournament, you can join us on the weekends.
Yeah, a lot to play for this season. This is...
He's
changing to Delhi.
Nice. So we got Beijing, Delhi, London. All right. We still got 3 American time zones.
Are you going to change that every day? Okay, that's going to be funny. IST. There you go. For all our Delhi fans out there.
Again, I'm saying we don't have Artosis' time zone. What about the people on Prince Edward Island?
It's coming,
We need
man.
to know. So, yeah, it's same show, same format and everything. We just wanted to start a little bit earlier here in the day. And so you can see the full schedule here. We did have to actually just slightly alter the pacing of the tournament since the finals is not going to be done in-house here. But, again, we're just super grateful that Blizzard was open to the idea of having the RSL finals there. And it's going to be cool to have some StarCraft, hardcore esports going on there for the StarCraft fans to come down.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool to see it on the stage once more with the fans and the live commentary, all that good stuff. This is the story so far. A lot of Protoss champions, Classic claiming 2 in Season 1 and 2. Then Hero, winner of Season 3, the offline finals, and Season 5. And then we have Max Pax as the Season 4 champion. Season 6 is open.
Can it not be a Protoss? I'd be open to that as well. We have definitely been, I think, the most Protoss-y tournament that there is right now in all of StarCraft 2. Only Protoss is winning. We'll see those Zerg looking very strong. Cyril here in Season 6. Any tournament Cyril's in, he's basically the favorite. By the way, special shout out to Archon Studio. They're the makers of the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. And we are just so grateful to have their support. Their figurines look amazing. And whether you're like a collector, or if you want to be someone who actually plays StarCraft strategically, it is in fact a game. It's not just figurines. You can actually play a game. We're going to be playing a game later this year for them. Definitely check them out. We really appreciate their support.
We also appreciate your support over on the Patreon. Without you guys and your contributions, this tournament would not be possible. It's kind of a crowd-funded event we have going on here. There's a ton of perks. If you do sign up, you get replays. You can vote on the maps. Every season, we have 3 maps come in, 3 maps go out. Those are chosen by the Patreon members, as well as you can vote on players, get in the Discord, get some merch, that kind of stuff. We had a poster go out last year that was signed at the offline event. That was super cool. You can also just get a sign up to the free email if you want to get updates on when the tournament is going live.
If you're not in a position to support us financially, you can just join it, and we'll be able to update you there. The more that you support, the more interaction you get with the tournament itself. So there's fan votes for players and maps and everything. Another way to support us is to go check out our merch. It's tastelessthreads.com. We've got RSL merch. We've got Tasteosis stuff on there. We've got a whole bunch of cool stuff. I think there's really something for everybody. You know, those XLs, XXXLs have been selling out like crazy, guys. We've got a whole warehouse full of S's and M's. We're still waiting to get rid of some of those items, but I know my audience here.
Keep it in stock. Keep those
right,
XLs in stock.
The triple XL t-shirts are selling like crazy on tastelessthreads.com. Anyways, guys, Solar and Rogue going at it here. Again, I think some matchups are going to be more impacted than others by the worker count here, and I'm very interested to see what ZVZ is going to look like.
ZVZ is a matchup that actually has changed quite a lot. You know, people are kind of memeing about the variety, but right now the build orders in early ZVZ have somewhat become rock, paper, scissors, with the, you know, hatch first being tough to deal with temples, a normal pool first being good against temples, and it's, you know, you have these kind of not build order wins, but slight advantages you can get in the opening. Whereas it used to be that hatch first was just like the best build order,
right,
and you could hold everything quite easily. But at Home Story Cup, we saw Reina against the laser, where Reina was temple in every game, and he would kill 10 drones of a lasers who was going hatch first each game. And, you know, some pros think you can hold everything with hatch first. Like I think Lambo has said that's possible.
Yeah.
But I think it's still being figured out, and players are, you know, thinking about what they want to do. This game, we do see Solar going for a temple, so this may be put to the test already. We'll have to see what Rogue wants to open with.
Yeah, well, you know, super fast pool here from Solar here. Let's see when the pool goes down, right? I mean, the longer the game goes, you know, the more of a threat can be in the game here for that player who can't make any lings. And we're about to have link start. We don't have a pool yet, and it looks like it's going to start right now for Rogue, just behind the minerals. Now, in general, in StarCraft, if two players go for pools and one is slightly later than the other, you have an advantage because you have more drones, as long as it's not so late that you can't defend lings, right?
That's right, yeah. And he also took the gas before the pool, so he's going to have his, you know, ling speed, baneling tech, these kind of things online a lot earlier. He's going to go down and take his hatchery now at 15. This is still quite a low drone count for Rogue. He's only on 14 drones. You might look at this as Solar and think, oh, this is like, you know, an economic opening, but he's not going up to the standard one base saturation here. Only 11 on minerals. So if he holds here without taking much damage, the counter punch could be quite big if that's what he wants to go for.
Yeah, he's going to be coming down now. We have 6 lings about to hatch here. And Solar is only making lings. We haven't had any drone start at all, so he is very committed to this. The question is, do you commit on the hatch or go into the main? And he answers that question right away by coming down and hitting the hatchery. Drones are pulled. He has to basically hit, run here to try to buy some time before the damage snowballs down the hatchery.
Yeah, with the lings out here, he will be able to keep hold of this hatch. As long as he keeps pumping out lings, when that ling speed finishes, I'm a little bit worried for Solar, because he'll be able to send all of them across the map, you know, very quickly. On the side of Rogue, though, he is losing a lot of mining time, picking off some of these drones already. This looks like a very good trade, actually. 3 drones go down. If he can get a few more, that would be very, very worth it for him.
Yeah, right now it's 11 drones to 9. So Rogue has dropped a decent amount of workers here. I mean, when you consider what's happened so far, he could actually... Oh, I thought he was going to go on that one drone right up there. He's going to run by and go up into the main and do a little bit more scouting. Now, keep in mind, ling speed is almost done. And speed lings are much stronger than slow lings. They can really punish here. So there is the possible counter punch inbound here that could be huge.
Yeah, Rogue is not remaking these drones. He's just continuing to make lings. He's rallying them across the map. I think this might be quite difficult for Solar to hold. May have to pull some workers here, get some kind of block on the ramp. If the second queen comes out, that would be amazing. But ling speed is now done.
Okay, so he's going to try to go up into the main. Now remember, you know, if he was going to hit with all of his lings, losing these is going to give him a little bit less. He does take out a drone. That, oh, okay. He's got the lings just stopped there for a second. Kind of a weird rally. He's going to run up into the main. Now the queen's going to retreat towards where the drones are, and that'll prompt Rogue to then switch his attention down to the hatchery over here on the low ground. Now losing this hatchery is going to be devastating.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he can hang on to this. The queens do make a nice block at the ramp. Some drones come down to help out. His first queen to the front getting very low. I'm not sure if there's a transfuse available. Oh, he's off creep, so he can't transfuse. And just like that, the counter punch with the speed.
Yeah.
Rogue takes game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, right? It's you lose some workers early. It's scary. You might be losing your hatchery. Rogue didn't. He was able to defend it, but then Yeah, the investment of the Ling speed later on is so strong.
Yeah, that's what the gas before pull gives you, right? Normally you just go pull, hatch, gas, but this time you went gas, then pull, and this gives him Ling speed way quicker than you would normally have. And even though he lost the workers, I think he went down to 9, which is not a lot at all. Just having some Lings with speed, getting them across the map really quick, he's able to just take the game.
Yeah, I thought for a second maybe just the hatchery would go down. But the reality is if you lose the hatchery too, that's probably also fatal. You have no tech and you're on one base. And I think he was he ahead by like 2 or 3 drones?
Yeah, I think Solo was on like 14 maybe-ish.
Yeah.
Like he had a few more for sure. And he couldn't hold the ramp anyway though, right? He had the queens on the ramp, and once those goes down, the Lings will get into the main. So interesting game one. This is what we're talking about with kind of how the patch, the worker change, has changed the early game in ZVZ. The build order choices like matter so much now. Yeah.
Some of the later games, I don't think TVT. Well, we'll see. I mean, we're gonna obviously have plenty of TVTs here in RSL, but like I think some matchups this will impact more than others.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the idea behind having the worker count change. Is like, okay, well, what openings can you do now? What does that look like? Does that spice things up? Does that make things more interesting? And so, yeah, I think Solar came in there with not a bad idea, but it certainly didn't succeed in any way that got him the game. In fact, you could see that once that whole concept played out, there was nothing really fancy about what Rogue did, right? He just basically kept making Lings and counterattacked and snowballed the game to a victory.
Yeah, I mean, if Rogue had gone for a hatch first, for example, the temple would have been way stronger. So that kind of worked out in Solar's favor. And, this time, I doubt we'll see them both play the same build. So I think you have to mix up your openings now in ZVZ.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like a I temple every game kind of guy, because that can be shut down with a build like we just saw there, or some kind of early pull of the opponent's own. But here we are in map number 2. It's going to be on Necropolis. Solar in the top left, Rogue in the bottom right.
So, one of the things I'm noticing, and I was kind of wondering this before RSL started, but I was going to hold off until I saw a couple ZVZs. But, obviously StarCraft 1, you start with 4 workers. When we had the worker count reduction in StarCraft 2, it is interesting to see that the early game ZVZ looks a lot more like StarCraft 1. So Zerg versus Zerg's always been kind of a funny matchup because of the way that Zerg develop, right? You have to choose between a drone or Zerglings. Basically you have to choose between economy or attacking units. Obviously, Overlords too. But where like the other races, like Protoss and Terran, are actually much more similar in that, gateways or barracks or factory, they're all making a certain set of units. You don't warp in probes from a gateway, right?
Right.
So I've always been interested in how ZVZ is impacted by that. And I think when there's more workers, it seems like there's more range to try to get away with stuff. And when there's less, it can be more oppressive and more inhibitive, and more punishing in some situations.
Yeah, for sure. This game, we see Rogue going for a pull first without the gas. So he's going to have a slightly faster hatch, more economic opening. Solar's gone for a hatch first. So this is the most economical opening you can do. The difference between these is not too much in terms of economy. Obviously, the hatch first player is a little bit ahead. But it's kind of like minute, and as the pull first player, you can take this into a macro game. You're not forced to get any really early damage done or anything like that. You can just make drones and play this out. We'll see what Rogue's got planned here. I think he's definitely, for me, one of the most interesting players the last few seasons.
Right.
Like the builds he's been bringing out, all the different strategies have been really cool to look at. So we'll see what he's got planned here. He also likes that hatchery in the wall. You remember that? He was doing like a hatch in the wall, the third hatch in the wall. With the lava buff, that might be even better now.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. But I think this game is going to be one where we should see a little bit more development here. It's not going to be 2 players coming at each other right away. So both players are going to be expanding here. It's going to be a slow start, basically just droning up and going into development. We want to see if there's going to be a third hatchery and an expansion, or if this is going to be some kind of 2-basing, powering, teching, something like that.
Yeah, 2-base Roach builds are good. 2-base Muta builds can work. Like you say, going for a third hatch has been the standard in ZVZ for a long time. So we'll have to see what these guys want to do. Ling speed already on the way here for Solar. Just a little bit ahead of Rogues as he went for the pull first. But he'll be getting that shortly. And then we have to look at, like, are they taking a third base? Are they going for Bane Nest before the third base? Are they staying on gas? How many queens do they get in? All these little details can kind of paint the story of what each player's intentions are. Okay, well, that says an intention already. The layer at 3:15.
Yeah,
for Rogue.
Very, very fast layer here. The Ling does not get up into the main here. He's going to just stay back, try to see what might be hatching out of these eggs.
Yeah, he's got to deny this scout.
Yeah.
Like, if you see this layer that early, it's huge.
Yeah. No, you need that element of surprise here. We have Ling's speed nearly done here for Solar, although he's not cranking out a ton of Zerglings just yet, so there's not going to be any kind of attack here. But it is that 3-base versus 2-base opening right now here. I mean, the layer's almost done. I would not be shocked if we see a Spire go down here.
Yeah, I mean, he skipped his Ling speed to get that layer as fast as possible, so we'll see what the tech is at the moment. He hasn't added on a ton of gases right now, which makes me think it won't be Muta. He's only on 2 gas at the moment. He's adding the Roach Warren. That may just be for the wall. We'll see here momentarily, but he is getting Ling speed as well. Okay, that Overlord actually just floats in and spots the layer there. Big scout by Solar. And he's going to be Spire.
Oh, okay. He's going to come in here and see. He'll see the Spire has just started. This is a lot of room to try to respond to this here for Solar. I mean, you know, the earlier you can scout this, the better. But I mean, he basically saw it right when the Spire started here.
Yeah, that's a great scout for him. He's going into carapace of his own. I'm still waiting for Rogue to get his 3rd and 4th gas. Okay, there we go now. So he's going to go into some mutas for sure. These queens just hold in the front, make sure these Lings do not get into the natural again. Going to get his own Evo chamber. And now the question is he going to, you know, max out on mutas, like try and go pure Lingbane muta, or is he going to make some mutas and then go into roaches and try to play a more ground-based game?
He does throw down that Roach Warren. We'll see how committed he is with the mutas. But right now, I mean, he doesn't have a ton of gas. You know, he's basically he's below 200 gas. So, you know, I'm almost wondering, like, how committed will he be to this at all? He's going to let it build up a little bit more. So, looks like he will, in fact, be making some mutas. I've thought for a second, like, is he just going to let the Spire finish and go right into, like, Ling Roach? That doesn't feel good.
Right.
But instead, he just wanted to build out a little bit more here in his base.
Yeah, Solar's made a ton of Lings, by the way. He's, you know, at this doorstep of Rogue, just threatening to run in at any moment. That's forcing Rogue to make a lot of Lings of his own. And the threat is always there. He wants to take this 3rd base, but the drone actually going to get picked off en route.
Yeah, snipes that drone. Nicely done here. Solar, you know, when you go for those 3 bases and the other guy's going Mutalisks, you have to take advantage of the fact that you have that extra base for as long as possible. And sniping that drone, that buys a lot of time.
Yep. Yeah, you got to send a new one. You know, you lose the money for the drone, of course. The Lings just kind of chasing each other around the map, and we see an infestation pit. This is the kind of standard anti-muta response. Add on a bunch of queens, get your spores, go up to infestors, and then later, once you have your 3-base economy, start to move into Hydralisks to round that out. One queen will actually get caught at the front, but the Mutalisks are here to help out.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come in here. They do snipe that queen. Obviously, they're going to have to back off with the mutas over them like this. And, you know, it's funny. A lot of times when you see players go for Mutalisks, it's really hard for the other player to attack them because the mutas will just counterattack and kill drones and do all that kind of stuff. But what Solar's doing is he's using these Lings kind of the same way. He's kind of forcing the mutas to stay back and help defend, which means you're not getting a ton of value out of them for the time being. You know, you want these mutas to be trying to kill stuff on the other side of the map. Now Rogue's going to send these Lings up here all the way into the main.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose all of them. If he can get a queen, that would be something. Maybe slow down the production. Oh, it actually survives. Wow.
What?
That was so many Lings for basically nothing except a scout, I guess you could say. The Hive now on the way for Solar, and I really like his position in this game. The one thing Solar has, Rogue has going for him is Solar might invest too much into anti-muta tech. You know, go in Hive, go in Infestation Pit, and then if Rogue can hit a big Roach Ravager max out, maybe he can punish him while he's trying to make that transition.
Yeah, a lot more roaches are being cranked out here right now. The army supply is actually quite high here for Rogue, but as long as Solar's doing these little counterattacks, it's going to be Rogue defending before he can finally move out.
He's forced to show the roaches there, and he sees there's no drones at the 3rd, so Solar should know that This is basically all in from Rogue. He stopped droning a while ago. He's only at 45. He's doing nothing but hold this Roach key down. Roach Warren just started now for Solar, so he's going to be relying on mostly Queenslings and Infestors to make this defense happen.
Yeah, he's still making Roaches. Sometimes we see these games where they make Lings behind the Roaches to try to come in here and basically stay in the front and tank, but this is a different kind of style. He's going to have Mutas and Roaches coming up here and hitting. There is an Ultralisk Cavern that started right now for Solar.
Yeah, I mean, if those come out, it would be huge, but I don't think he'll have the time. Rogue trying to make this happen right now. Tons of Ravagers morphing, not adding their DPS right now, but Solar forced to pull back for the moment, wait for the next round of Lings to spawn.
Yeah, he's going to come up now. And, you know, with the Spore here, it's hard to get the Mutas in. He is going to be able to pick this off. Kind of unnecessary corrosive bile that comes over there. He actually hits on some of those Roaches with that the beautiful fungal.
Yeah, the Mutas just can't join the fight. The Queen's kind of zoning them out with their long, you know, anti-air attacks, and Solar's starting to chew through this army, but more and more Roaches streaming across the map. Is he going to have enough to actually break this? The Lings are all gone, so the Queen's under fire right now. Throwing down these bios when he can. The Muta's trying to add a bit of DPS. This is on a knife's edge right now, but I think Rogue might just be starting to wear the Zerg army down here.
I think he's almost got enough. You know, it's just Queens. We don't have anything reinforcing. There are 2 Ultralisks started, but, you know, they take a while to make. Infestors overextend for a second, but they do retreat back. But, you know, when the Queens fall, that's really where the defending Zerg is going to be destabilized. He's going to run back with 4 of those Queens, and that's where Rogue is going to slide up here into the third base and start trying to hit a very vulnerable expansion.
Yeah, the drones have to be pulled. So many Hive upgrades on the way for Solar right now. He's spent a lot of resources into Adrenal, you know, Kindness Plate and all these upgrades that are not helping in this fight.
Oh.
Roach is getting the natural, start to take out drones, the Evo Chamber that's making +2 melee. That Spore Crawler will fall down, so now the Mutas reign supreme, and one Ultralisk is out.
Yeah, he's got an Ultralisk out, but there's nothing else here to help tank in the way. Just a couple more Lings are going to hatch here, and the Ultra is eventually going to go down. And the problem, I think, right now for Solar is he's never going to have enough to fight this all at once. He's basically losing things as they're hatching.
Yeah.
The fact that he's in between the main and the third base, too, means nothing can kind of group together. That's going to be a GG. Rogue takes that very handedly.
Yeah, very interesting game number 2 there. Going for the Mutalisks, letting Solar, you know, go into some Hive tech to try to counter them, and then just not droning the third, going for that big push, Roach timing, and just killing him outright.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue clearly with a very good handle on the matchup already. Beautiful timing attack. I was interested. I thought for a little bit Solar might be able to hang on, but you can see when the Roaches got into the base, there was no way for you to ever have like enough Ultras together with Lings to fight all at once, right? Ultras are actually kind of bad if it's just like a solo unit.
If it's just one of them, yeah, it's pretty bad. Like you said, being in between all the Zerg rally points from the different hatcheries is such a strong place to be with the Roaches. You pick off, you know, units as they come in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
And that's what he was able to do there. And like you say, just couldn't get all his units at once at the front. Yeah, great push.
It was, it's kind of like when you see Terran, if you just like sit on top of their factories or barracks. It's
right.
If you're there for like 30 seconds, it's like, well, they're never going to get anything out now, right?
Yep.
And it was kind of like when you get in between the third and the main, you're on top of that natural hatchery. Like things are just dying as they're rallied to wherever they need to go. Guys, one more plug here for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/revive SC2. And we hope we can earn your support. The money that you donate, if you sign up, it goes to the prize pool. It goes to the studio that we built and we'll continue to upgrade here. It goes to paying the staff. And so consider joining us here. The more you contribute, the more interaction you get in the tournament. We've got great votes on maps. By the way, I think we've been killing it. Our community has with the maps.
I love the maps. I think they've done a really good job with that. Voidstorm, the newest one, is so pretty, and I like all the 4-player maps we've had brought in. Here's a kind of overview. Old Sun Temple, Fear and Faith have come in. Maps I don't like to play on the ladder, but that I love to watch the pros play.
I love to
on.
make other people play so I can watch them. One of the ideas we had with the Patreon was basically we wanted to support, give back in a way that would make sense for what kind of fan you were. Some people are fans of the players, but they're not necessarily students of the game. Right? Some fans are students of the game, not so much fans of specific players, right? They just want to see good play, and that's why we also give you replays. The reality is, replay, that is the most valuable tool for learning. You can watch our casting and see the the game in a produced way, or if you're a Patreon supporter, you can just go download it and kind of break it apart yourself.
Yeah, clicking around the map and checking exactly what you want to check is the best way to learn a build, for sure.
Anyways, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with Group B here in the RSL. You're like, oh, I hope you chase these, and then the mutas kill all your medevacs. You're like, oh, damn, I guess I shouldn't bait you with one of my most important things. Oh, my God. Lambo overextends, but only slightly, is already remaxing as some of that army is cleared out. It's all going to be down to how these Banelings connect.
Yeah, this Terran army is very scary right now with the Marauders at the front, soaking up whatever they can. The Banes run past, try to get on top of these Marines, but is there enough of them left? Some of the mutas fall, but there's still a bit of a pack here, and I think Bunny is winning this fight convincingly, even as a tank remaining all his medevacs, and he's just going to keep pushing right now.
Yeah, he's going to come in here and once again take this base out. The Banelings are being remade. The problem is that I don't know that Lambo has managed to really win a fight to offset the strength of Bunny. And Bunny's fine trading. He's fine with a little bit of a back and forth.
Oh, brutal Widowmine shots there. But yeah, like you said, he hasn't won a big fight, and he hasn't damaged the economy of Bunny either.
Right.
You know, with the mutas, you want to be getting those STV kills, running by with Zerglings. You got to be careful. You don't want to get aggroed in here when you're not looking. The mutas aren't with the army here.
Oh my God, it was so bad. He lost so many Banes. I mean, the one thing you would love to have as Terran is for Banes to connect on either Marauders or Thors.
Yeah. Okay, but Lambo's still somehow making this fight work. I'm not sure where the rest of Bunny's army is. It's at the front of his 4th base there. Okay, he scans this hatchery, sees it's there. A Widowmine will deny this one from going down anytime soon, unless Lambo sends units over there.
So annoying.
Yes, so annoying, dude.
Yeah, so we're going to watch this just kill off this drone. This is one of these games you could be like, no, I swear I sent something there to me. What's going on? Where's that drone?
Game.
Yeah. Okay, he's going to hit this base as well, and I think it's actually... Oh, God. Let's see if he can win this fight. He's going to actually just jut in with a couple of Marines and Marauders. Just make sure he clears that out. Right now, Lambo's on 3 bases, guys. There's one 4th base at the very, very top left started. But as far as, like, what he's got that's functional and mining and going to contribute to his economy and his future trajectory in this game, it's those 3 bases. Where Terran is on 4, soon to be 5. And I'm worried that opportunities are really drying up here for Lambo.
Yeah, +3 infantry weapons just finished for Bunny. Huge power spike. He'll have the armor as well soon. Meanwhile, Lambo's Hive is not finished yet, so he can't even start +3/3. So Bunny's going to have a huge upgrade advantage. And yeah, Lambo losing all those hatcheries, he just doesn't have the economy you need at this point. I feel like this game's going to get tougher and tougher for him. Unless he can find an angle where he kills a bunch of workers where the Terran army isn't or something. He's going to go for these turrets once again.
Oh my God, okay. He is going to be able to continue to fight here. He's going to actually dive on the Thor.
Okay, he does take it out, but what are the losses going to be?
Yeah, how many Marines are actually here?
Oh, this is so many mutas going down,
so bad, dude. Yeah, I was going to say there's like, so many 1 HP mutas that's going to be a GG. But really that game was lost, much, much earlier.
Yeah, I think that was a Hail Mary, like, let me try and magic box this Thor. If it dies, maybe I get on the production or something, but
yeah.
Just a bit of a risk.
Yeah. So Lambo went for a pretty, like, a very different, I should say, unit comp, kind of going for the classic ZVT Ling, Bane, Muta style. But Bunny parried the attacks pretty well. I thought for a little bit when that first big attack came in at the 3rd base, where the 4th base was above that.
Yeah.
I thought, for whatever reason, I guess I kind of decided like a bunch of SCVs had been killed.
Me too, actually.
And then when we looked at the production tab, I went, oh, actually...
He's fine.
You're totally fine trading infantry out for that.
Yeah.
The way I understand Ling Bane is that when you have enough fights over time where the Banes don't kill SCVs or have very lopsided exchanges where the Banes kill like all the Marines, you're probably going to lose over time.
Yeah, you do need some economic damage at some point, but
yeah.
Bunny kept pulling his SCVs so quickly and getting them out of the fight, preserving that high worker count. I was really impressed with Bunny's play, and I think he really knew when he should push.
Yeah.
And then also when he should come home if the counterattack's there. I think he did that kind of dance really well.
I think when he got out after he got the first hatch, I went, okay, he's probably winning this. Because some Terrans, I mean, this is not even true just for Terran, but sometimes you see someone win a fight and they just like keep going and they keep going, like maybe I can get a 3rd and a 4th base, and eventually like they lose everything and the game balances out. But It's actually, you know, who said this to me it was XDS Gur from like, you know, that's like the OG OSL champ. He pointed out like a lot of times all you need to do is like go out and kill a base. This is StarCraft 1, but it's true in StarCraft 2. He said just kill the base and then just go back.
Yeah.
You don't. If you've killed their base, a lot of times all you have to do is like chill out and not try to steal them.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going back into our second match of the day. It's going to be Nightmare versus Maru. Pretty excited to start seeing some Protoss on the new patch. It's going to be our first introduction here in the RSL for a Protoss game. And I'm very curious to see what some of these players who got cooked up, because lots and lots of things have been changing with Protoss in terms of all of their mechanics and their macro and everything like that. So, yeah, very excited to see this.
Yeah, definitely the race that's changed the most, right?
Yeah.
When you alter such a fundamental mechanic of the race, like all the builds have to be relearned or rediscovered or remade. Everything's changed. On the flip side, we get to watch Maru, which is always a treat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Maru, of course, someone who we always expect to go extremely far in all of our events. Had a bit of an underwhelming experience last season, unfortunately, but this time, of course, I'm sure he's trying to get as far as possible, as always. And well, who better than a first opponent of Nightmare? Because he has literally never lost a series against Nightmare in his entire career. So, yeah, I think Maru is going to be considered the favorite in this particular match.
He's like the new Shin.
Yeah.
Just another guy who's never been able to beat Maru for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That's how good Maru is. You can see the maps at the bottom. We have At Eternity's Edge for set 1, then Ruby Rock, and then
Exarch.
And then Exarch.
Don't pull a Tasteless.
I was fine with it until Tasteless said it the other way, and then that changed my brain. Yeah, Exarch will be the final map.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, At Eternity's Edge is our first one here, and it looks like a couple of very early SCVs going to get thrown out. It's just one, actually. The second one was just making that depot, but yeah, one of those SCVs going to get thrown across the map. And you're saying that Nightmare is going to be the new Shin, essentially. Well, at least Shin was kind of taking some maps. Nightmare has taken a grand total of 4 maps in his life against Maru.
Over how many sets?
It was like 12 or something. So they haven't actually played that many times, but still.
That's still very one-sided.
He's 28-4 in maps and 13-0 in series.
Wow.
First time they played was in 2015.
Well, let's see if we make it 28-5 as we go into this game here. It's going to be a Rax hidden by the third base of Nightmare. The probe will come out. Probably not going to go straight down there and see that. Going across the map right now, just a kind of normal scout route as he makes his way across the map here.
Yeah, very curious to see what the response is going to be. Of course, I've not seen too many games with the proxies so far in terms of how this, in terms of how the early build orders work out with this. So I really want to see what Nightmare responds. Because, of course, we're all still learning this new patch. I'm still kind of obviously, tuning myself into how these Protoss builds work and everything. So Nightmare's going to come over and see that there's going to be no barracks, and of course he's going to need to respond. Generally, what you would do if this was pre-patch is that you might go for, a fast Zealot to maybe just have it to go against the Reaper. It looks like he's going to be doing that exactly. Some players try to skip that and just go for the Nexus anyways and just, use their superior probe micro to keep those alive and whatnot. But looks like Nightmare's going to be going for that Zealot right away just to make sure he's got it. And it's actually going to be a concussive Marauder build coming out of Maru here. Just off of a single barracks is actually quite surprising. This is not something that we would normally see. Generally, you would do this off of 2 barracks in the pre-patch, or it would just be a proxied Reaper or like a 1-1-1 style proxy. So the fact that it's 1 barracks proxy concussive is very interesting.
Yeah, what's the follow-up likely to be behind this? I mean, you can, afford to make more than just Marauders from 1 Rax of 1 base economy. There is an SCV still there. A second gas goes down here as well, so looks like we're going to have something else in the moment. Next Marauder pops, he's going to push with just the 2 Marauders for now. As he goes in, right now the Zealot is there. Obviously not going to do too well against the Marauders. They can kite it all day with concussive.
I mean, this doesn't look great to start. There's no battery being made either. Like, Nightmare kind of skipped on that. It almost feels like he thought that this was actually a fake proxy or something because he didn't really see too much in the main base, and then it seems like he's very underreacted over here at his natural. The pylon's going to go down, so he's supply blocked for a moment here. And then Nightmare, I mean, he's just letting Maru right back up because there's literally only a Stalker, and that's not going to do anything against this double Marauder.
Yeah, he's chroning out another one as fast as he can. Second Stalker pops. The probes are pulled. These will be kited. He's actually going to target fire down one Stalker. It does go down. He's making a factory at home. Didn't proxy that on the second Stalker. In the red, just gets back to the mineral line. The shield battery trying to finish up here to heal this Stalker. If Maru can find it back there, that would be big.
I mean, he's definitely got it. Unfortunately, the Marauders will end up dying anyways, but a couple of probes did get killed off as well, and then there's still some Marauders left on the production. So, I mean, Nightmare can't really just take this natural just yet, since the Marauders will still do very good against the single Stalkers. You need to make sure you have at least a few of them. But yeah, this is a very interesting opener. I guess just, again, with the worker changes, you can only really afford to go for the one barracks this early instead of the two. We do have two Marauders now joining right back up, and the Micro is just not quite good enough to stay out of that concussive range, so we'll trade out one of the Stalkers as well. And now it's going to be a Cyclone follow-up from home, and it's not going to be a CC just yet out of Maru, so we'll see if he wants to continue being as aggressive as possible with this.
Yeah, he's going to send that across the map. Starport going down on the back of this as well. Two Marauders versus two Stalkers. Need a few probes there as well just to add a bit more DPS, add a bit of a meat shield. Actually going to get the first Stalker and Marauder goes down as well. They just seem to be trading one Stalker for one Marauder. Finally, it goes in the way of Nightmare there at the end. And now there are more Stalkers than Marauders out on the map, but the Cyclone coming across is the next phase of this attack.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It feels like, I mean, obviously Nightmare's been very strapped for cash this whole time, of course, with how low the worker count is. It's very difficult to try and get as much stuff as possible, and you see he's got the second gateway nice and early to make sure he can try to get as much units out as possible. Warp Gate is finished right now, so that means he is getting the Stalkers out quicker than normal. So he's actually got quite a lot now, and Maru, he's kind of not suspecting there to be this many Stalkers, and he's actually getting very overwhelmed. Without even a battery to defend, Nightmare's actually doing very well.
Yeah, that first lock-on actually went onto a probe.
Oh,
and
did it? That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and then right afterwards, the Stalkers showed up. It was a little bit unfortunate for Maru. You obviously want that lock-on to go onto a Stalker if they're pushing you. The barracks now forced to lift. The Stalkers will start to work on that. The kind of third phase of this attack is going to be Cloak Banshees. He is making a CC at home, so you can start to try and transit. It's so weird to see a barrack try and get on the high ground.
This thing is so fat, you cannot save that. There's no way that's hidden up there.
Yeah, it's going to burn down for sure anyway. The Tech Lab also gets killed. And the CC finishes up. Twilight Robo follow-up here for Nightmare.
Yeah, I feel like Nightmare defended that very well, considering that it didn't seem like he knew what was going on, and it seemed like the first couple Marauders were really catching him off guard without the battery and everything. I think it was really well handled. I like the response of the fast second gateway, just making sure Warp Gate finishes, so you then get the extra follow-up Stalkers much quicker with that extra boost in research time. A lot of players have been saying that the gateway speed, like just producing out of the gateway normally with Warp Gate researched, is actually quite good against Terran, and it's been pretty successful for them. So it's cool to see that going right now. As you can see, Nightmare's still not actually warped those into Warp Gates, as they do cost 25 for every single Warp Gate that you want to switch. So you really only want to do that when it's the most opportune time.
Yeah, here comes the Bantry. You're going to start to work on this mineral line. 5 probes go down already. Oof. Do we have detection right now? An Observer in production, but not here for the moment. The Observer, the Robo is at the natural at least, so finally does see this Banshee now. It will be shooed away to the third base, which is going down for the Protoss. Another Banshee goes to the main. There's only one Observer out for the moment, but the second one's about to pop, so he will have detection in 2 places.
Oh, this is getting pretty rough right now. 9 workers getting killed off, and the Banshees will stay alive as well. The batteries were not in time, and it seems like Nightmare wasn't really expecting the fast cloak to be coming in from Maru. So evening up the worker count is Maru, and that's going to definitely put him right back in this game, and possibly even into a lead at this point, because that's going to make it very difficult now for Nightmare. Of course, he's getting his third base finished right now, so he's got 3 probes at a time being made, which is really nice. But you always want to make sure that you're trying to be ahead of the Terran player in the probe count, because obviously if you're equal, but then you add mules on top of that, the Terran's going to really just flourish. So that is going to help Maru out a big deal, as you can see just from that income graph alone. So let's see what Nightmare's got in store here for his mid-game transition to see if he can combat with that.
Yeah, very difficult to deal with build out of Maru here. It's kind of like, can you deal with the Proxy Marauder? Can you deal with the Cyclone follow-up? Can you deal with the Cloak Banshee follow-up? There's a lot of things that you have to be ready for, and pieces of your own build that have to be on time. Maru actually committed to 3 Banshees already before he goes into some medevacs here. So if there's a mineral line undefended, even with a shield battery, he's going to get a lot of kills here.
Yeah, there's only 2 Stalkers, and yeah, sure, the shield battery will be able to help a little bit, but yeah, 3 Banshees is actually a lot of DPS, so we'll see how much damage this does get done. There's going to be only Zealots being made from these gateways as well, so it's not going to have any reinforcing Stalkers since Warp Gate, there's no Warp Gates right now. He didn't transition any of them, so he's not going to be able to instantly warp in Stalkers or anything like you're normally used to seeing. And now with just those 2 Stalkers that you can see, Maru is easily able to focus down 6 more probes before getting out there without any damage, basically. Those Banshees are still very healthy.
Yeah, Nightmare went for charge before Blink as well, so his Blink's only halfway done right now, which, you know, obviously if you have Blink available, that's a huge help in dealing with Cloak Banshees. But as it is, they've got a ton of damage done this game, and now Maru's looking to be aggressive, moving across the map. You don't want to lose these expensive factory units. The Cyclone just survives there. One Widowmine. Ooh.
Boy pull as well coming out from Maru, and then the flank with the Banshee is going to be able to kill off some of these units, so Nightmare getting a bit stuck in the middle of the map, and excuse me, now the SCVs coming on in is going to make this very difficult. There's no splash damage available at the moment for Nightmare, so these SCVs are going to do a lot of good tanking.
So many boys at the front here making the wall of bodies just to block out those Protoss units. The Widowmine's on top of the ramp in a very good position. Scan goes down. The Zealots take some big hits there from these new buffed Widowmines. Protoss units falling left and right, and Archon at the top tries to join the fray, but it's a little bit of an awkward engagement here for Nightmare.
Yeah, this is really difficult. He's split between 2 sides right now, and neither of them feels like a winning battle. And it's very difficult to get these units out because, of course, you're just kind of streamlining them in from the gateways instead of getting the instant warp in. So that Archon's going to get killed off, sectioned off from the rest of the army, and everything on the low ground is getting killed by the tanks. A forward Blink is not really going to do anything as Nightmare is just plummeting in supply at this point.
Yeah, Maru runs away with it. GG is called. He goes up 1-0 in the series. Very cool build out, Maru.
Yeah, I did like the approach that he was going for. I do also think that Nightmare defended it very well, though. I think his response, despite being kind of late with the realization of what it was still very good. It's mostly the Banshees that did him in, I would say, because the Cyclone got defended very easily as well, but then just didn't really anticipate the follow-up Cloak Banshee, didn't have the batteries ready, didn't have his robo fast enough for the Observer, so that was really where it really came undone. And I would be very curious to see what this game looks like if the Banshees were a little bit more well defended. Even if they only get like a couple probes, I think Nightmare would still be in a totally fine position, and then the SCV pool is not as threatening, but really nice execution from Maru, good game plan with a, like, you know, 1-2-3 step punch essentially, and yeah, it worked really good for him.
Yeah, I think between them they got over 15 probe kills, maybe even 20 or something, and they also killed Stalkers as well. They weren't just killing, you know, economy, they were also killing the military units there of Nightmare. So going up to 3 was a nice touch, I feel like. If you stay at 2, you can get the worker kills, but it's kind of hard to overpower the Stalkers.
Exactly.
But like you said, once you have 3, the DPS suddenly like becomes so much more, and you can just, you know, snowball it a bit harder.
Yeah, it's very difficult when there are so many of those. But next game is going to be Ruby Rock. Let's see if Nightmare can come back into this one. Like we said, he's been having a hard time versus Maru. Let's see if he can make it up in this one here.
Here we are loaded in. Nightmare, the blue Protoss in the top left. Maru, our red Terran in the bottom right. What else has he been cooking up in this matchup? I cannot wait to find out.
Yeah, I'm very curious because Maru, of course, someone that does not shy away from bringing out some very cheeky builds when he feels like it is the strongest. Yeah, I remember back in the the 2018 era when he won those like 4 GSLs in a row or whatever. It was just lots of proxies, lots of stuff like that. So he very much enjoys to go for that type of style. Looks like this game he's not going to be going for any proxy this time, though. Going to be sticking inside of his own base. So Nightmare will have we'll get to kind of see what Nightmare's game plan is more this time, because it seemed like he was mostly on the reactionary that time. So I'm very curious to see just what Nightmare has hooked for this particular matchup.
Yeah, it's interesting how the meta can change, and people will talk about, oh, the late games become better, for this side in the matchup. But players like Maru, who are so good at early game builds, obviously he's, a master of the late game too. But as you said, he's very good with proxy builds and has always kind of thrown them in throughout tournaments, and that makes him somewhat resistant to meta changes, as he can just be aggressive and skip, the later stages of the game. And here we go again.
Looks like he might be
going to be
the
scout this time, or the eBay block.
eBay block, I believe, yes.
Yeah, he did take that route around the map, so Nightmare does not know he was being eBay blocked.
Yeah, I wonder how this works as well in the new patch, of course. I mean, this is a bit more of an investment to do from the Terran player to try to go for this early eBay block, of course. There's a lot more money that's going into that with how little is now coming in. And then, of course, the response from Protoss will be a little bit more awkward, too, because now, of course, the probe is getting down here right when the Nexus should be getting built. No time, to be alerted of this in advance. So he's just going to go ahead and throw it right at the third base, which is something that Protoss generally do as well when they see this eBay block, and then the instant cancel for Maru when he confirms that as well. So I feel like this looks pretty normal compared to some pro players' responses from the pre-patch as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. It used to be that they were pulling workers to try and DPS the eBay block down, like quite a while back. But
if you get the scout early, some players will put the probe down slightly earlier to check if it gets made immediately. But if you scout it too late, you kind of have to just abandon it. So yeah.
Yeah, the Terrans are doing to the Protoss what the Protoss have been doing to the Zergs for a long time.
It's all a cycle.
Making them take that third base and play an uncomfortable kind of setup here.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes the Reaper. We'll jump into the main. There's a probe there away from his buddies as the Stalker is being chronoed out, but is not available just yet. This Reaper's going to run wild in the main for a little bit. Really nice micro on these probes, going to sending them forward a few at a time. Not letting any of them get picked off, even though they get weak. Nice juggling there.
Yeah, it was very nice. Very calm, very well controlled from Nightmare. Did not panic in that micro whatsoever. Gets a couple of them injured and then brings them right back just to buy time for that Stalker. So very nicely done. I really wonder, I wasn't paying too close attention to that, but I wonder why his Stalker was so delayed. Generally, you still can get the unit out before the Reaper gets there without the craziest gap. So it's curious what happened right there, but regardless, he was able to manage it anyways. And it looks like Maru is going to be going into yet another concussive shell opener and then a 3 racks follow-up to go with that as well. So going to stick it with the aggression. Doesn't want to let off the gas too much from that last game. Will continue going across the map very early.
Yeah, Marauders from home this time. And the Protoss third base being at the front makes the rush distance a little bit shorter, so I like the aggressive choice here. Hallucinating Phoenix will actually see these Marauders, and the question is, can he deal with these?
Yeah, the battery is not quite done, but it will be done quite soon, so he only has to delay for a little bit, but that concussive does make it very difficult, of course, to run away. Sentry's going to be here now as well to help, but the battery does finish up, and that's basically going to spell the end of that pressure. And it also means that these Marauders likely can get chased down, as they are not able to do that much damage at the moment by themselves, so yeah, nothing really done too much, but 3 probes getting killed off, I guess, is a kind of a win right there for Maru, I would say. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to look for with that pressure, but, yeah, getting 3 probes is still something.
Yeah, it's interesting how when it's the proxied version, you want to get on top of the Stalkers and snowball the army advantage, but in this case, he's expanding, at home, so he's trying to get the economic advantage instead by going for the workers. Like that choice from Maru, as he is now going into his own factory, he's getting his stim, pumping out Marines 3 at a time here as he starts to build up his bio ball.
Yeah, he's going to be hitting with a very large force in just a couple minutes, of course, with that stim coming out. Wonder if he's going to wait for stim or if he's going to wait for medevacs, because there's a couple ways you can take the 3 racks, of course. Some players like to just go right away when stim is finished without the medevacs. Others like to just kind of wait it out a little bit until they get the medevac support as well. So curious to see what he's going to go for. But what I'm more curious about is what Nightmare is doing with this fast Robo, because he's gone Robo first into Immortals, which is, again, not something you normally see, and we have a fast pylon getting made on the right-hand side. So again, you do not need a gateway anymore to, a warp gate to cause the fast warp-ins on these pylons. You can just, it's the base, the same time for every single pylon no matter what. So he's going to be very aggressive with this, using a hallucinated Colossus to mog his opponent and aura farm a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Scout the main? That's insane.
I don't know if that's like a fake. I mean, I guess he could be, he kind of just showed his hand a little bit there because, of course, the Colossus didn't do any damage. But, yeah, that was an interesting move. But regardless, he's going to be going into a lot more gateways and a couple of Immortals, and he's likely going to continue to be pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, the larger mortal count. He just added 5 more gateways, by the way. The larger mortal count will be very good against the Marauders if there are any of those left over. Maru's still making 2 at a time, so those Immortals will shred through that, and he's got a lot of sentries, can try to cut the army of Maru in half. Maru might actually look to move out on the map. I feel like he needs to be very careful right now.
I don't think he really realizes what's happening. I mean, this is not a build that you see ever, honestly. This is a totally post-patch new build coming out of Nightmare. We never see this anymore, and Maru's caught on the ramp. A lot of these units stuck in front of the force fields. The medevac's not quite there in time to be able to lift them up and save them. So now Maru's going to have to be really careful. He's even bringing SCVs forward to make sure he can really try to snowball this.
Yeah, Maru really respecting this push, pulling the boys there. Some Stalkers go down on the top. The force fields don't really cut off too much of the army. 3 SCVs fall down, but this is not over yet. Ooh, okay. Yeah, very nice hallucinated probes there to set off the Widow Mine. He does have a bunker here with a lot of SCVs to repair it.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. Even with force fields, of course, you can force field those SCVs away so that way the repair can't come down. But there's going to be a lot coming here. And it's actually a transition coming in from Nightmare 2. So he's taking a third and going for a Robo Bay. So he's not going to go completely all in with this. It's just going to be some very dedicated pressure. Let's see how many SCVs he can kill. I honestly wouldn't mind him just like force fielding off with all those SCVs. They were really far forward. I feel like he could have actually gotten a lot of them if the medevac micro did not pick them up at least. So won't go for it, it seems like. Just wants to be nice and safe. But that does mean that Maru can just pick right on up the moment he smells weakness and just send them across the map.
Yeah, that was a lot of nice indirect damage, forcing those SCVs not to mine for a very long time there. This pylon will get found. I think that's the last one on the side of Maru's map. Oh, no, there is some. Oh, there's the depths over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the last pylon on Maru's side, but he's hidden a few units there that he can try to shade into the natural once Maru is across the map. And here we see he is moving into the natural right now. The Protoss army at the third, not here to greet him. Gonna get that shield battery instantly and actually focus the Nexus here. If he could get it, that would be huge.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute wonderful move there from Maru. Going to be able to get that kill, and then the 3 Adepts going into the natural aren't really going to do anything. They get a single SCV, so nothing getting done there. So basically just a free base getting killed off from Maru. Unfortunately, Nightmare not really realizing that Maru was going to go for such an aggressive move, because he literally picked up those units like the second that Nightmare went away. Like, he didn't hesitate whatsoever. So Nightmare was pretty caught off guard by how fast those units were able to get into that position.
Yeah, pretty funny. They flew all the way around the main base there and unload over here just outside the Protoss third base, where he's actually going to run up again to see if there's any other targets he can go for. Going to focus this gas down. That's a nice pickoff. That'll slow the gas income of the Protoss for a while here, delay their tech a little bit. He's already got his Twilight and Thermal Lance on the way, but maybe he can slow down the production of future tech units a little bit. Blink now going to be the follow-up, as well as these continued Colossus production here.
It is really annoying because he's only on 2 bases. His third base is extremely late given the state of the build orders, and of course getting sniped like that. So killing off any gas geysers to limit the gas production, Protosses are very reliant on that. So a nice little move there for Maru, as he's going to be taking his third base as well. Going to get that over pretty quickly. And it looks like Nightmare is, actually I thought he was going to move across the map to kind of contest this move out for a moment, but it looks like he's kind of just posturing back and forth, trying to get the edge, but it looks like they might pass. Oh, thankfully that hallucinated Phoenix did catch the army right as it's moving out, so he's able to reposition back into his third base.
Yeah, Maru does have a third at home, but he's been on 2 base for a very long time, so he's been building up this army, looking to make this big push happen. The force fields go down, cut off some units. Very fast pickup by Maru to ferry those Marauders to the back of the force fields. And he still does have a lot of force field energy remaining, so he can throw down another round of them here. Gets a couple more Marauders. Vikings being added into the mix here to deal with these Colossus as Maru sets up all his tanks outside the third base.
These tanks are really oppressive right now. There's no flank or anything that Nightmare can do. He's just positioned in this one singular spot, trying to use the force fields to their greatest advantage to try and section off just a few units here and there, but it feels like he's not really getting much value out of them, and the tanks continue to shell away, as there's really no way for him to engage this without taking crazy damage.
Yeah, indeed. This sentry's going to fall here. Throws down a couple force fields at the end, loads them in the same place there. Some of the bio goes down, but the tanks take an even more forward position here. Now they can just zone out this Protoss army. The Nexus is in low HP. It's in the red. It is going to fall if Maru chooses to click it down. There it goes. And now Protoss knocked down to 2 bases here. The Colossus getting shelled on by these Vikings.
Yeah, it needs to focus fire those Vikings down. We'll be able to do so, but not before they're able to kill one of the Colossus. Now the tank's getting forward as well. It's going to be very difficult for Nightmare to defend this. The Disruptor shots unable to do too much whatsoever, and Maru is going to take this in a nice 2-0 fashion.
The Immortal falls, and with it, his chances in this game, GG is called. Maru takes the series 2-0, and that now brings his record to, what, 20...
I forget what
30 and 4, or so was it 28 and 4 before that? It was a lot of games, guys.
It was 28-4.
So now it's 30-4. Maru remaining, very dominant in this particular player head-to-head.
Yes, that was a bit of a beating from Maru. I really liked the build that Nightmare went for, though. I thought it was quite interesting. I feel like he maybe needed to just kind of go a little harder with it. Like, I feel like there was an opportunity there after getting a couple of those units sectioned off on the ramps and whatnot to maybe kill off a lot of those SCVs, like I was saying. Even, it's quite likely that Maru would still be able to, pick them up and, micro them back and stuff like that. But I think that you can definitely get at least a couple of them, if not more, if Maru's not paying as close attention or something. So, I don't know. I feel like he had a slight opportunity for a little bit more economic damage with that push, given how many force fields he had. So I feel like that was a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I feel like the build was still quite interesting.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the groups. We now see Rogue and Maru are 1-0 in the group. They will move on to the winners match. Solar and Nightmare both lost their set, so they will go down to the losers match. And then, we're going to see who our first player is going to be out of the group here shortly.
Yes, Rogue and Maru, two great players to have going into the playoffs for sure. So would love to see either of them make it on through.
Yeah. Rogue versus Maru is always a great time. Both very, very good players. I cannot wait for that one. Sorry, there's a really funny guy on the other screen. The custom map picture. Ignore me. Yesterday we saw Sarah and Björn go through in their group. If you missed it, just a quick recap. GG Machine got his first set in the RSL, but did also fall as well as Bunny.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. GG Machine kind of just lost to Beyond 2 times in the series,
right?
Or in the group, so it's a bit unlucky. But regardless, we're going to be going into a short break, and then we're going to get that Rogue versus Maru match coming on up. So don't go anywhere. More RSL to show.
Welcome back, everybody. We have such an amazing match coming up now. It's going to be Maru versus Rogue. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, two absolute beasts coming at it right now. These are the two favorites for the group, for sure, I think. Yep. I mean, Solar obviously also has a really good chance. Nightmare, I think, is definitely the underdog of the group. But either of these two players making it into the playoffs first would be not very surprising.
Yeah, you know, Rogue coming in here, the match I got to cast to open this up, seems to have a very good handle on the game, looking strong. He's been looking really good in general since he's returned here. He's really in tip-top shape. He's always shown such a huge range of play. It's really hard to know what kind of style he's going to bring out here. I do think this is going to be one of these matches where the early game is going to be very interesting. Are there weird timings that these guys know that they could try to pull off, especially with the patch being like fresh out of the oven?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is there some kind of in-between move as the game is early on that you can maybe hit them with to get a free win and kind of move on? Because obviously these guys both want to try to get out and secure that spot, advancing forward here. And obviously because they're in the same group, there's not a likelihood they're going to be meeting each other until much, much, much later in the tournament.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be Necropolis as map number 1, then Void Storm, and then At Eternity's Edge to close it on out if we get to that third map. So Necropolis coming on up first. Let's see if Rogue versus Maru is going to be a banger like we expect.
Okay. We've got Maru here in the bottom right and Rogue in the top left. I would say Maru probably slightly favored here. Slightly stronger than Rogue in general. Although Rogue can definitely win.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I mean, these players really do just kind of trade series back and forth. They've got a very equal, very even match record overall. So I really would not be surprised if either of them do take it. I think it really kind of just depends on the day almost, like who's coming out better on that specific day, what kind of strategies get picked and whatnot. So I'm very curious just to see where these two players are out. I mean, Rogue especially, just because we saw so many interesting styles from him in the last couple seasons. He has been bringing out some really cool stuff, really interesting build composition or unit compositions. The build that kind of gets there as well is very interesting. So very curious to see what Rogue's got cooked up here.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see, what he's going to try to deliver here. Maru making his depot and barracks now. At the natural expansion, this is a base where you have kind of a low ground to high ground area that goes outside of your second base, so this is a good way to kind of set up. Although he's not making a command center right away. Obviously, the command center is going to be an inevitability in any game that goes on long enough, but right now he's tacking, he's getting his gas here.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to go for the Reaper build, I would imagine. Actually, he's not making a second barrack, so it looks like he's just doing a normal Reaper expand, but just with the stuff on the low ground, just so that way he can then kind of secure his natural slightly easier. Okay, I'm wrong. It's a Marine, all right.
You really put yourself out there, Gemini.
I mean, I didn't. These timings, man, are messing me up.
Okay, wait, no, I got this. He's going to cancel the Marine and start Reaper. Oh. No, that didn't happen either. All right.
Damn it. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's just kind of slowly building up gas right here. He's only got 2 in the gas geyser as well, which is kind of interesting. So he's going to be making just Marines one at a time with some light gas coming in. Now he's got the third one coming on in there as well. So he's got this really mapped out, apparently. Yeah. And then he's going to go ahead and put that command center. So I guess he's just slowly getting that gas. I'm going to put myself on the line yet again. I'm going to say it's for a factory.
I think you're right. Let's see. The factory should be here. He just now has... he's going to have almost enough to put that down there. It's almost perfectly synced up. God, it's good.
So good.
Good recovery, man.
Thank you, man. I really... I was risking a lot that one.
Yeah, that was. I could have had to take your caster badge. That would have been.
I would have gotten thrown into the sewers right there, man.
So we got the reactor coming, and cool build here from Maru. Very fine-tuned already. So basically, he's getting that expand, but he kind of slots the base in between developing into 1-1-1 here. And he looks like he's going to probably swap the factory off for the reactor here that the barracks is making, and then go into Hellions. And probably go into kind of this sweeping control play. We'll see how many Hellions he commits to. Is it going to be just like 4, or is he going to, mass commit to this and get a lot? Whenever you see a ton of Hellions made, you are not... That is always not going to be tanks. It'll be, less money that could have gone to Marines or barracks for Marines. So... Let's see what kind of playstyle he wants to come out here with. Only 1 Hellion, by the way, on the reactor.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's Why even put it there? Okay, he does make a second one. I was going to say, this can't be a build where you add a Hellion on make one. It's like...
Just totally mind gaming your opponent. It's like, actually, I'm only going to have a singular Hellion.
You ended up to stop
10?
2 Hellions,
No.
but I only have 1. Some egg on your face. Now you have just a few extra lings that could have been drones. 12 lings being made.
And a Baneling Nest. So it looks like Rogue's actually going to be pretty aggressive. He's not got a third base just yet either. He's seeing the wall is actually incomplete as well. Maru is, of course, going to be needing to fill that up. So he needs to make sure that that's going to be really, Oh, wow, he's actually leaving with the factory as well. Of course, needs to put a barracks there. But that means that if this hits at a correct time, that barracks is going to have less health as well.
Yeah, now he's going to see there's not that many drones here.
Yeah.
The drones are actually... Is he going to lose all of them? He loses at least 3.
Well, that was not great. And wow, that got put down at the perfect moment right there. That bunker was a second away from letting all those lings in. In fact, actually, there's still a gap. There's SCVs moving on the left-hand side. They got out from the wall. He's going to have to be forced to cancel this barracks anyway, so he's going to be able to get through. The Banelings have not yet shown their face, so that's going to also be a very difficult thing to deal with from Maru, as there's really nothing to be able to kill them.
Yeah, I love the Baneling egg basically morphing where you could have plugged that up with a barracks. He's going to get in here. The Banelings are going to come through. And the bunker fills up, but he basically just sidesteps it. He's going to pop open the entrance. And that's going to be a GG. Whoa.
Variety.
Yeah, that was crazy. I love the Baneling morph.
Yeah, that was
the
nice,
Rax
actually.
was.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Really just like tiny attention to detail right there, just to really make sure that the wall doesn't get plugged back up.
Yeah.
So yeah, very nicely done there from Rogue. I mean, Maru definitely had the read, of course, because he saw how few drones there were. You can see that he was, kind of trying to get the wall up in time, but it just, the scout didn't quite happen early enough. He was, unfortunately lifting that factory over.
Was that not fully walled in?
It didn't look like it. No, it wasn't. There was still like
the bunker
a
on
little
the left
gap.
didn't actually plug it up?
No, I think actually, I can't remember exactly how. I think there was. I saw SCVs like moving past the bunker on the left-hand side.
Okay.
So yeah, I think something
I thought they were already on the other side.
Yeah,
but,
something looked a little strange with how that wall was working, but
yeah.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Maru, but that didn't really end up mattering anyways. He was just didn't have anything to defend against it. Like the Hellion scouted, but it was just not quite enough in time. The factory had already left, so that barracks was already low on HP because it was only halfway done constructing. Yeah. So yeah, a bit unfortunate there, but yeah, Rogue picking up a very quick win.
Yeah, interesting build order selection there from Maru. I guess we don't really get to see where it would have ended up, but it did seem like, with a lower worker count, it's a little bit harder to have this defenses secured, to get the economic engine going quickly there. I'm curious what Maru could have done to maybe hold that off a little bit better here.
Yeah, of course, if he had gone for like a normal Reaper expand, then of course that Reaper can get that scout possibly much earlier, which is a big, big difference. So going for that many Marines so fast, you're just kind of taking the gamble that they're not going to be doing something like that. Maybe you just
have to have a bunker there no matter what. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seemed like Maru was really just trying to you just cut some corners and just get some nice efficient build order.
I don't know. I mean, it did seem, well, I guess it's hard to say if the Ling Baneling bust was like impromptu, like he saw that and went, I'm going to go for this, or if this was like a premeditated thing.
Exactly. There's no reason that he needs to do it if he sees like a normal Reaper expand or something like that. So yeah, that could have been a totally reactive play.
Oh, you just have like too much infrastructure up in the front, and I think I can just basically crack this open.
Yeah.
And so that means that Rogue is going to take a 1-0 lead here, possibly going 2-0 here, or 2-1 here. Maru going to have to go to the losers match if he doesn't win these. These next two.
Yeah, some very fast games we're having today, man. This is being a bit of a speed run so far.
Yeah, what is it? It's like 7:06. We started an hour ago. It's so weird.
We're like almost 2/3 the way done.
I was talking to State about this because we cast, RSL and GSL. And we were like, how is GSL so much longer every time? It's just, this tournament format is the same, but somehow RSL games, maybe it's because of the maps we have. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're back now into game 2. Rogue taking that first victory, and we're gonna see what exactly Maru's gonna do playstyle wise. He did seem to be maybe being a little bit too greedy. Again, with the 8 workers in the game to start, all the build orders are fundamentally changed. Some more dramatically, or some matchups more dramatically than others, right? But obviously, Ling, Baneling, ever since the very first season of GSL where Fruit Dealer won. Like, it was a strong move, right? I mean, you have to know how to actually handle that early on. But it seems like with these changes, there are some opportunities to come in with these kind of, you know, it's like what you encounter on the ladder, right? You know, like a loss like that where they just kind of come in there and bust you open and kill you.
It looks like Maru this time is going to be going for something a little bit more standard, putting the barracks in the main base here. Of course, this map doesn't have a natural high ground, so it's just going to be a little bit more difficult for him to go for that type of style, I guess. So doesn't want to go for it, just going to be doing something more standard here. And it looks like Rogue's going to go for hatch first. We were kind of talking about this a little bit yesterday, of course, with how the new hatch and pool timings work out. Sturgeon was mentioning how, like, if you're going against a proxy and you go hatch first, it's a little bit more difficult now to deal with that.
Right.
It's like a lot of fast Reapers because the spawning pool ends up being too late, and then he said, I think it was like 20-something seconds or whatever, where you're not able to get Zerglings out. So a lot of players now are going for the pool before the hatchery, but Rogue just deciding this time it's unlikely that Maru is going to be going for something super aggressive. However, he does have a very fast second barracks coming on in, and it is going to be a lot of Reapers. It's not proxied, so that's of course going to make it more easy for Rogue, but it is still going to be much more aggressive from Maru compared to last game.
Yeah. So let's see what this does. I mean, again, it is hatch first. And these Reapers are going to be coming out. We'll see how many he actually commits to. You know, we've seen it as low as just 3. We've seen it where players just continuously make them and try to snowball the damage. And then usually you just take a free base on the low ground because the Zerg's going to be preoccupied trying to stop you from doing any damage with that. He does make the 3rd Reaper. I was going to say, imagine making 2 barracks just to make 2 Reapers. Like, it's kind of like
so
our crazy throw the factory on the reactor to make 1 Hellion. It's like mind games. Like,
you thought there were going to be 6
Reapers. I waited
Reapers.
18 years for StarCraft 2 to get this good.
Who knew we could reach build or optimizations of this level?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The next move is he's going to land the factory in the reactor and go, not, and then pick it back up and land it on the ground and then make one Hellion.
Oh my god. All right, the Reaper's going to find its way into the main base and start the little dance against the Zerglings, and they will be able to keep enough drones alive, of course, before the Queen does pop. But one of them actually a little bit vulnerable, does keep that away. But now the extra Reapers are going to start to join up, and that's, of course, when everything really starts to go crazy. Is Maru going to start to snowball anything, or is Rogue going to really just kind of keep this defense nice and tight?
Okay. The Queens are just going to be deflecting these Reapers. And with the double command center here, you're really going full-on economy here. So he's going to have a few more Reapers made. He is getting a reactor add-on over here. And, this is pretty cool. We have the 3rd command center starting before the 3rd hatchery. Can even be placed anywhere on the map. The Reapers are slowing down mining. Drones are having to be evacuated. He's going to wrap around. He needs to be careful, because if you commit over here, now he's going to get a surround.
Oh my god, 3 of them, and one of them just apparently looked at Medusa.
One of them's frozen in carbonite, like Han Solo. Oh, he's gone now.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was crazy. I've never seen that. Anyways, that was terrible.
That was really bad.
That was all of the Reapers dying.
Yeah, I was just kind of about to get to the point of saying, well, now you can probably land the 3rd CC and kind of keep pressuring them, but not anymore. You can't even use this command center right now.
But the tech lab's a bit under threat. You got to pull a couple SCVs to make sure that doesn't get killed off. Okay, we'll be able to do that. But yeah, now there's no mining at the natural. This is really rough for Maru.
Yeah, and the problem is it's actually a lot of Lings to try to drive out, right? I mean, if you can just occupy this space, you're not making SCVs. That command center's not being floated back, which usually means he's going to try to get down as quickly as possible and recover this. I think probably the best move, but like, you're happy to have Lings sit out here and play keep away and shuffle the weaker Ling to the back, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, this is Rogue is going to take this position any day of the week. I mean, killing all 4 of those Reapers for just, I think it was 2 drones, like, really an amazing trade.
I'm shocked he committed.
That was such a ballsy move, yeah.
I feel like you just should never actually do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point is, like, look, if you got in there and killed drones and got out, I'm like, well, that's cool. I guess you're really winning pretty hard, huh, Maru? But it's like, if that doesn't work, it's like, okay, well, now you're not safe at all. You've built nothing but economy infrastructure, and you can't actually, plant it and start to soak up the resources at that location. So yeah, I think bad decision making there by Maru.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. He's going to have to, of course, now be very delayed on everything because that mining at the natural was delayed for so long. So the extra production is going to be a bit late as well. You can see that huge spike on the income graph for Rogue when that command center was lifted. So really nice for him. And again, a Reaper getting picked off in the middle of the map. Maru is just kind of losing units left and right, unfortunately. We'll eventually, of course, get a good amount of units set up now that he's nice and secure on these two bases. The wall is going to be set up as well, so we'll get a bit of a lull here as both players start to power up. But yeah, Rogue is going to be really loving this position.
Yeah, Rogue in fantastic shape. Not impossible for Maru to recover, but he got tripped up in what would have been like a pretty solid economic setup, right? I mean, you have the 3 command centers cranking out SCVs. Your SV count's going to get so high to the point where he wasn't able to then take advantage of it at all. So we have 4 bases for Zerg with this hatchery about to finish basically at the same time that this 3rd CC is going to land. The worker count for Rogue is at 69, which is so awesome. But compare that to the 49 for Maru, which is lower and also not a sexual position. So there's that's my takeaway.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Yeah, Maru is definitely feeling really bad about that specific
He's angry about that one. He's like, oh, man.
Damn it, I really want my numbers to be to be used as a sexual position.
I want my numbers to mean something. So we're going to see a small push out here from Maru. And the question is going to be, what can he get done with this? The creep spread's pretty good. It's got a ways to go before it's, overpowering here on the map. There's a queen out here that's going to get sniped. You can see Rogue did have ambitions to kind of get that creep out even further.
Nice little kill on that Overseer, actually. It's going to supply block Rogue as he's not actually even making another Overseer or Overlord just yet. Still not making one, in fact, just now starting 2 of them. So he will be supply blocked for a pretty good portion of time at this point. He's got a lot of money that's going to start to get banked up. So Maru might be able to take this small opportunity to catch up just a little bit. So nice little moves, of course, by Maru. He needs to get more of these, though, to make sure that he solidifies himself. But I would say he's definitely still in a very workable situation. Lots of Hydras now going to be the transition coming out of Rogue. So they're going to be focusing on a Hydraling Bane and then eventually into a Lurker composition to see if he can combat whatever Maru is going to throw at him.
Yeah. That 5th base is going to be taken up here. Most of the bases from here on out for Rogue after this 5th base, it's a lot harder for Zerg to hold. You can basically kind of draw a diagonal through the middle of the map, and those are a little line, from bottom left to the top right. And, that's where Rogue would take next, but, all those are pretty attackable locations here for Maru. That being said, getting up to 5 bases is really where Zerg starts to flex, their economic muscles here and actually really... start to press Terran. We could have a game, especially just kind of seeing the setup with unit comp here, of Hydraling Bane, where he might try to plow down that 3rd base and just kind of keep Terran oppressed.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. A couple more medevacs trying to drop into the main base as well as those other medevacs on the left-hand side in the middle of the map trying to distract Rogue. But it looks like there's a massive army getting bunched up right here, just like you were saying, trying to bust down this 3rd base. So this is going to be a very big attack. Maru's got lots of Widow Mines in preparation, though, trying to retarget them. But unfortunately, they die before they get all of their shots off. That one is going to be pretty good on those Zerglings, but they're still getting some nice connections, and there's way more Banelings to come from as well.
Yeah, he's going to hit her. These SCVs are not being evacuated. They could have been picked up by those medevacs even. And, I mean, the amount of damage that Maru's just eating here, I don't know if the Hydra Link can go up any further. Actually, I guess there's really not a lot up here. The game's just over. Rogue.
Wow.
Artosis just woke up. Artosis was sleeping. He went... And he knew he was right about something.
He knew he was right, yes.
Yeah, and he knew that they were wrong.
Oh my god.
Okay, not just he was right, but they were wrong.
He just wakes up, he's like,
yeah.
Just gets that little smirk on his face.
He goes, DT's killing my turret. He just wakes up in the middle of the night. And he goes, no, it wasn't my normal nightmare. He goes, did I wet the bed? He goes, yes, but this time something else happened. Rogue just smashed Maru. Maru didn't look great at all in that final attack.
That
the SCVs weren't pulled away.
Yeah, I mean...
honestly, one of the worst games I've seen from Maru. I mean, the Reapers, the decision to send that into the natural, I mean, you want to generate the when you have those Reapers out on the map, you want to have the Zerg thinking, well, I can't attack across the map because Reapers could go into my base and kill me.
Yeah.
But once he sent them in there, he loses all that. he's just sitting at home with 3 command centers and add-ons.
And there's like 2 Marines.
Yeah, there's 2 Marines, and he's suddenly lifting off his natural. I'm not saying that he would have won if that hadn't happened, but it certainly made the early game terrible. And bad early games lead to weaker, mid games and late games, and so there you are. Here's our schedule, guys. If you haven't heard the news, our Season 6 finals is going to be at BlizzCon.
Oh my god.
And I want to be clear about this because I think there's been maybe some confusion with the messaging. That's not our... We have something called the offline finals.
Yeah,
which is actually the end of the year RSL event. That's also happening.
We may have needed to do a better job.
We didn't know we were going
to
kill it this hard that we'd be at BlizzCon, so we'd also have like the season stuff moments where we'd have an offline final.
Yeah.
So whoever the 2 players are that make it to the finals, they're going to BlizzCon.
Yeah, for Season 6.
Season 6. This is Season 6. You can follow our whole tournament there. There's going to be a little bit of downtime between when we finish and when BlizzCon is. We want to make sure the players have enough time to get sorted. Whoever wins this, if they need to get a visa to America, whatever it is, we get that sorted. Yeah. So that's exciting. Could you put that back up there? We just want to pull it. We can't do it? All right. Guys.
Oh, we can.
We can, yeah. So, I mean, feel free to join us as we go through this. We're going to be on every weekend. I also want to remind everybody, we are starting an hour earlier.
Yes.
We have been for this whole thing. That's probably always going to be like that. We had a couple days where it just went late enough that people could not get home on the subway.
Yeah.
So we wanted to fix that. All right. Guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to go to the losers match here in what so far has been a very, very fast day of RSL.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be going into the elimination match of Group B. It's going to be Solar versus Nightmare, and a first ZVP as well for us to watch in our RSL Season 6. Very curious to see what is going to be going down.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup has changed a lot, right, since the big patch. I mean, we haven't really seen many of the top Korean pros, Protoss pros, I should say, play this matchup a ton. Obviously, there's the weekly cups going on and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really curious what the Protoss have been cooking up. I think ground-based styles seem a little bit weaker. SkyToss seems a bit better or the same. So maybe that's the way to go in this matchup now. We'll have to see what they're cooking. The gateways are just such a big change that there's a lot to kind of figure out.
Yeah, we maybe we'll see Nightmare bring out the fidget spinner build. The fast mothership rush has been all the rage. Basically, is what it's been doing over on the ZVP matchup. It's been a lot of sky toss, a lot of rush into sky toss, because like you said, the ground styles have been much worse overall. So it's been a bit difficult for some Protoss players to figure out how to make that stuff work, and the sky toss has been less changed. So that's been what the default has been, essentially.
Yeah, we've seen some players like Skillus, Home Story Cup, has been trying out some of these new kind of sentry pressure builds.
Yeah, I really like that, actually.
Yeah, I thought that looked really cool. He did it against Cyril. It didn't win the game on this necessarily, but I felt like he was in a decent position. He had a worker lead at some point. So there's some room for improvisation and creativity and figuring out new stuff. And as always, optimization once a new big patch like that drops. So we'll see what is in store. Of course, you can always just try and play some of the old builds, like doing a depth pressure or, like say, go sky toss or whatever. So we'll see what it's going to be. Pylon coming out. One thing that's changed in this matchup, I was just about to say, if you Pylon scout, you can basically always block the Zerg natural and make them take the hatchery at the third base. We don't see him doing the fastest possible scout here, so Solar may be able to take his hatch at his natural base location if he wants to.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that he's actually choosing to not go for the hatch block. I've seen a lot of people say that it feels almost like a necessity now that you have to try and block that. Yeah. You can see Solar's even just kind of expecting it, just waiting to see if that probe is out there, and he sees nothing. He's like, oh, great, cool, I can just take my natural for free. That's excellent. And now Nightmare's actually just going to scout after Gateway anyway. I feel like I don't know. I feel like this is a bit interesting. I feel like you would either want to make sure you block the hatch, or you want to make sure that you just keep everything home to get as much income as possible. So gonna do neither of those two things and just kind of get a scout anyways without the block. But just because of the way, the larva works now and everything, it just feels like you want to try to get that block off, since you can get it so consistently now.
Yeah, taking your hatchery at the natural as a Zerg now feels like a real luxury. When you're able to do that, it feels amazing. The build feels so much better than taking it at the third base. So, yeah, I mean, that's the choice he's gone for. He's going to harass the minerals a little bit with the probe, try to make some of those drones bounce around and be annoying. Core going down at home. Solar getting his gas here. This is like the one matchup where you can reliably and consistently go for gas before pool without it being weird. It's kind of like the more normal thing. 2 gases on the way here for Nightmare as he gets ready for his core to finish up.
It's something interesting that you can kind of do now as Protoss as well, is that you can kind of go for the Nexus before gas in a lot of scenarios, and it kind of lines up kind of nicely as well. I saw Skillus doing this as well at the Home Story Cup. I actually really liked what Skillus was doing in his take on some of the games. It really seemed like he's embracing a lot of the changes. He said so on Twitter and stuff as well. He says he's actually having fun discovering new builds and stuff like that. So I feel like he's got a cool read on the game at the moment. I think Nightmare also is someone that is known for doing some kind of interesting builds here and there. I mean, we saw him try that cool style with the fast robo and the early sentry pressure versus Maru just before. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out, but again, I like to see some of these Protoss players try to come up with some new stuff, because I generally am someone that likes to copy the pros. I'm quite bad at coming up with stuff on my own, so I like to watch them do the work for me. And
hey, monkey see, monkey do,
that's
man.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah,
you're an optimizer.
Exactly.
You're an optimizer.
I just take it, I don't create, and then I let my Oonga Boonga brain just kind of fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I like that. I'm the same. I just copy the pros and do it worse.
Yeah.
That's my strategy.
Yeah.
All right, we see the first step make its way across the map. Going to follow up with the Stalker here. So we'll be able to snag that Overlord if it does dive into the main. Obviously not going to commit to the Shade as the Queen and a couple Lings are there. The Overlord will make it back to the high ground.
3 gateways.
Okay.
Actually, is coming out from Nightmare. He's got 1 more in his main base, and then he's building 1 more in the natural wall here. So will not be going for that fast sky toss stuff like we have been mentioning. He will be actually favoring some early gateway stuff. It looks like getting a lot of adepts out from these gateways. Not going for a fast Twilight Council either for glaives or anything like that. So I'm wondering to see what exactly this is going to lead to. Obviously, it looks like, okay, we'll be going into the Twilight Council a little bit later, but yeah, I wonder how aggressive he's going to be with this. How many adepts is he actually going to make? Of course, once Warp Gate finishes, you can actually pump out quite a lot of them from the normal gateway. So that's generally how this works, is that you get a couple out from the boosted gateways. Then once you're ready to actually attack, okay, he's not going to do that. I was going to say, once you're ready to attack, then you warp them in. Oh, he does have a pylon on the bottom. Okay, never mind. He's still doing this. It's just he's doing it a little bit earlier than some of the other builds I've seen. So he is trying to then just switch them into warp gates to actually be aggressive with them now.
If this pylon goes down before they actually warp in, though, it would be disastrous.
Oh my god.
And he only has warp gates, so he's, was he going to warp them in at home now? These 3 adepts are caught in the middle of the map. And what a big pick off there for Solar. Stops this pressure dead in his tracks.
Wow, that is so unfortunate for Nightmare. Unfortunately, that pylon was just barely in vision range. So yeah, gets scouted out and just canceled right away.
Yeah, the DT Shrine going to be the follow-up here for Nightmare.
I like that too.
All right, well, talk to me.
I know. I just think I like this build. I think it's kind of interesting. He's going for the fast adept pressure. Unfortunately, actually loses them in the middle of the map. Is forced to recall. So he's kind of just doing an interesting style where, like, you go for the fast adept pressure just without the robo, of course, because you don't need to drop them with the prism anymore, or you don't need to warp them in with the prism. You can just get the pylon, and then you go for the DTs behind it as well. I like the little 1-2 punch attempt.
Yeah, one good thing about going for an adept pressure is the Zerg's not going to take a super quick layer. So they may not have an Overseer. He does have these Spore Crawlers going down now, which will give him detection. I like this one at the front with the building wall, the Roachron and the Evo. That's going to make it very difficult for DTs to get into both the natural and the main if he has a few units there. And then we'll probably also need a Spore at the third base, which I think is the second one he was making. Going to get his third base down behind this, add a shield battery. And here comes the Warp Prism, and the first 3 DTs are already out.
Yeah, it's again very unfortunate that pylon got scouted.
Yeah.
It's actually just going to make them into Archon, so we're going to go for an Archon drop. I actually like this as well. I think that's kind of interesting. Of course, Archon drops something that has been very reliable as a Protoss tactic over the years. Ever since I feel like Zest maybe was the first guy to do this way back, and they've kind of just been a staple. We saw it kind of go away a little bit in recent years, but it does kind of come back every now and then. So I always like to see it. Very fun style to play. You know, just juggling the Archons back and forth and whatnot. So we'll see how much damage Nightmare can get done with this, as of course you can get a lot of map control with the War Prism and the Archons, because nothing can really contest them unless you have a large amount of an army going against them. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, it's a very old build, as you say, and it kind of like gets a lot of value over time. Zergs don't have anything that shoots up except for the Queen, so this War Prism is mostly uncontested. The Queens can zone it, of course, but sometimes you're able to find some Roaches, some Lings, some Drones, some Overlords out on the map, and just start to pick away at them, and then once the Archons get a bit weak, you load them up, regen those shields, and you go again. And behind it, of course, you get that eco going, you fill out your tech, you get your blink, you get your robo working, and you be as annoying as you can with this War Prism.
I remember once as well seeing Classic do it, where he even proxied a pylon with shield batteries, so that way he can go back to that and heal them up, and then go in again with another drop. That was a long time ago, but I feel like that's something that's always very cool to see, but obviously very niche kind of tactic. Regardless, the double Archon's still going to try to clear as much creep as possible, as a big Zergling run-by is trying to get some damage done at the third base. Nice attempt on that force field, but unfortunately not getting anything there. But yeah, just walking away as Solar. I think he's totally fine with this situation at the moment. He's kind of gearing up for what looks to be an attack. He's getting some Ravagers, waiting for Baneling speed most likely, kind of just refilling out his drone count as he gets this gold base, and then he's going to be trying to max out with some Roach Ravager Ling Bane, looks like. Yeah,
I think he'll be very happy with his position here. He's dealt with an adept pressure and an Archon drop without taking basically any economic damage in the form of drone kills. Only in the form of having to make units instead of drones. But he's sitting at 71 right now. Like you said, he has that gold base. That's going to be a huge boost to his income. He's going to add on Banelings as the follow-up tech and try to round out his army with a lot of Roach Ravager, Lings and Banes. These Archons doing as much as they can. But this Zerg push will be coming at some point, potentially. He's now going into the Robo Bay as well.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be going into a Colossus or Disruptor follow-up. Colossus against Roach, Ravager, Ling Bane is actually very strong. They can do a lot of damage. Of course, the Lings and Banes can get killed pretty quickly, and then you have a lot of Force Fields that can choke everything up. And now that Sentries have been buffed, Force Fields now take 2 Ravager Biles instead of just 1. Makes these types of styles much better. Unfortunately, for Solar, wow, great Force Fields from Nightmare. Wow, yeah, Nightmare very on point there. Recalls the 2 Archons as well, and needs to make sure he's got all hands on deck to be able to defend this 4th base since he took no damage at the 3rd. Unfortunately, that is going to have to get canceled, but still pretty good defense overall so far from Nightmare.
Yeah, Solar's already maxed out. This Zerg army is huge. If the force fields aren't perfect, Nightmare may just die here. Bile's going down on those force fields already. The Badens, some of them getting through, some of them getting trapped. If they get these connections, this Protoss army may just evaporate. The sentries finally get found there in the middle, and a lot of the tech units go down here. The Immortals remain, but there is just so much Zerg on the field.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. 1 Disruptor was out, but got basically a measly hit, nothing too much, as the Banelings now try to connect into the probe line as well. Lots of those getting murdered. A lot of them at 1 HP as well, though, so that's a bit unfortunate, but there's still so little on the ground right now for Nightmare. Solar can easily take that victory and just walk back home, replenish, and try to go again in just another minute.
Yeah, and the next wave will hit even harder with this gold base, boosting his economy. Nightmare will have Colossus for the next wave, but I feel like he just lost too much there. And he hasn't been able to establish a 4th base. His economy's kind of limping along at 60 workers after 10 minutes in this game. He does have a couple, just 1 Disruptor, 2 Colossus on the way to join up with his buddy. But this is looking like a tough order to stop this next Zerg push here.
Yeah, the real problem was, of course, that Nightmare lost all of his sentries in that attack. That is the linchpin of this defense. You need to make sure you have some of those alive to be able to choke up this army, because now there's just nothing to stop all these Zerglings and Banelings from just running on in. There's nothing to stop Solar, and he's going to take this game 1 pretty convincingly.
Yeah, nice split on the army at the end there. Just make sure, you don't come all from one direction, half this way, half that way. Get the big surround on that Protoss army, and very clean game from Solar. Finding that pylon was huge. I think that was like such a big moment in the game.
I really want to see what that game looks like without that pylon getting scouted, because that just totally upended the entire game plan from Nightmare. The whole idea is that you get the Warpins with the Adepts, and you can be pretty aggressive with them going back and forth, forcing the Zerg to kind of react to that. They're not on the map at all. You might be able to get some drones, and then you have the DT follow-up while they're distracted with the Adepts, and they might not expect it, and then things can start to go pretty crazy from there. So yeah, it's a really unfortunate thing that Nightmare had that pylon get scouted, but let's see if he can, I don't know, come up with something else a little bit different this time.
Yeah, you also need a lot more Zerg units to hold the pressure if there's more Adepts than Zerglings can deal with in the beginning, because then you need units in 2 places, right? But once you get that pylon, there's only Adepts in 1 place. They can't, shade from the middle of the map to your main or something and then to the 3rd. So yeah, just deal with it very quickly. We will be moving on to game number 2. Hopefully Nightmare shows us, something else, something cool, something different maybe.
I still like the build, though.
I like the build.
The
it was a good try for sure,
yeah, the idea was solid. It was just very unfortunate that the pylon got scouted.
Yeah.
It really looked like it had some potential there if of course, it did not get scouted. But regardless, did not work out for him very well. Looks like, I think it was Ruby Rock that was supposed to be the next map, but anyways, it's going to be likely a smaller map. So it's going to be, again, some potential aggression coming out as well. Why are you smiling at me?
I don't know. You were just winging it there. I was enjoying it.
Mapu minimized the thing. I thought I saw Ruby Rock, but then it got minimized. And I was like, and then it said at Eternity's Edge at the top. Like, wait, what? Didn't we just play
It is
that
Ruby
map?
Rock, guys. It's going to be Ruby Rock. So Gemini was right. It's a smaller map here. This has been in the map pool for quite a while. Like, it was a ladder map. How many seasons ago?
I don't remember. It's been in for a while.
It's been in for a while. It was a while ago that it was in the ladder pool, and it's a pretty good map. Lots of potential for aggression, I feel like. Some nice choke points there in the middle, and lots of avenues to run around. So we will be loading into that shortly. Solar currently 1-0 up in this series.
As the short day continues, it's been a lot of very swift games. Let's see if we can maybe get a longer one in this one, as of course some ZVPs sometimes can go quite long if we get those Sky Toss builds as well. Nightmare going to be on the bottom right, Solar on the top left, and no early pool shenanigans. I wonder when we're going to see our first 8 pool.
Well, I think 8 pool's worse than 10 pool, right? Like your eco is way worse behind it. But
is it?
Yeah, I think so. Like it hits harder, obviously, but as long as you don't actually just die, the Zerg eco is a bit worse behind it. But I think Temple is like an actual strong build right now.
Okay.
Sarah was using that at Home Story Cup. He did it against Hearthstone, I think, and looked very ahead afterwards. Although Sarah just seems to make everything work somehow.
he could kill 3 of his own workers at the start and still look ahead. Like,
yeah.
Cyril is not, I feel like, the base for some of this stuff. It's like, he'll do anything and just be totally fine.
Like, the only reference points I have as Cyril's games are my ladder games. There's nothing to go on right now. But I think in theory it sounds pretty good. Okay, we will see the Gateway Scout once again. Not going to be going for the hatchery block here. I wonder what he chooses to do with this. Yeah. Maybe he just feels like the Pylon Scout hurts his eco too much.
It does feel a little, rough, of course, going for such an early scout. It does impact the economy pretty heavily. But I feel like it's such a worthwhile thing to deny the Zerg natural with the current economy state and how the larva works and everything like that. And the fact that it's so consistent now. But before it was like kind of a map dependent thing where sometimes you would barely just not get there in time based on the map distance and whatnot. But now it's like literally every single map you can just get across in time. So
yeah, Zergs could also do like hatchery before pool. If they thought you were going to try and block them, there was this kind of like mind game of when am I going to scout, how early you take your hatch. Now you get it every time unless the Zerg does something like extremely fast, like a 13 hatch on a big map. Like I'm not even sure if that works on every map, but yeah, Nightmare opting not to do that. He's going to be doing things his own way here as this probe is taking a little bit of health damage. Got to be careful.
God,
you don't want to go through the mineral line when you're orange.
Imagine if he loses it on live air. God, that would be embarrassing, man. That would be the worst.
Yeah, but...
Oh, he's going through!
He's crazy!
Oh, my God. Solar needs to go for that, man. I feel like you got to take that moment to invest the emotional damage, man.
You look so silly if you go for it, though, and then the probe slips out.
That's also
that's loads of minerals I just lost.
Oh, my God, it's getting stuck. That's also why I feel like you should go for it, because then it'd be entertaining regardless.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we would enjoy it.
No, I agree. I'm extremely selfish. I want to see entertaining games, even if that means the pros embarrass themselves.
Yeah, this probe is going to try and get home. The Zerglings are in chase, but as the Adept comes out, it should be able to... actually...
It's very low from that harassment.
A few more hits, this will go down. But the Adept is...
Oh, it regened a shield. Very nice. Stay alive.
It's always risky to chase like more than half the map, across the halfway point, because at some point that Adept will just shade onto you, and then you suddenly lost 2 Zerglings for nothing.
Yeah, and that could snowball as well, because then if they just chrono out the second Adept, and now you kind of... cut a couple extra lings, so you're trying to get drones, and now you're just left there with just 2 lings, and now all of a sudden drones are dying. So yeah, you got to be very careful with those early lings for sure.
Yeah, it is going to be a Stargate opener for Nightmare this time, going for a Void Ray first. Going to be able to clear out some Overlords, reduce the Zerg vision.
This really kind of telegraphs a potential, very hidden build. He wants to try and, deny the Overlord vision, like you said, so that way he can kind of sneak some hidden tech. Perhaps a very fast fleet beacon. We will see what he wants to do exactly. Second gateway just getting thrown down, of course, to make sure this wall is all set up. And then, of course, that does telegraph a bit of confusion to the Zerg player. You don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. They could still be going for a lot of early aggression, because I believe that timing of the gateway is still very similar to how it was last game when it was that 3-gate build. So obviously now it's going to be, the gate's up, the Void Ray is shown, but there's still a lot of question marks from Solar. He needs to really figure out what is going on in Nightmare's brain.
Yes, indeed. This Void Ray will scare away the Lings as the Adepts come over to help this probe get down the 3rd base at a reasonable time here, 4:30. Solar, of course, has his spores going up at home in time for the Oracle follow-up, and he's brought all his Overlords home, which is good. Won't be losing any of those. Going to park those on top of the spores. The Lings just sharking around, see if there's a probe, around Maynard in from one base to another that you can pick off there, but nothing up for grabs right now.
And it looks like for now, Nightmare's not going to be doing anything crazy, just getting that 1 Oracle. He still could go for something very interesting, but it looks like this is generally just going to be kind of like a fake out, where you go for the Void Ray to kill off the vision, and then obviously make it look like you're doing something kind of sneaky. But then, okay, he's going to do it anyways. Sometimes you just don't do that, and you just use the mind game there. Oh my God, that Oracle is getting so much hull damage. That is so unfortunate. Nightmare not paying attention.
Yeah, that Oracle has very limited harass potential. After it's taken all that damage on its health, there is a Rotron going down at the front. As Mapu points out, Solo already getting his 4th base. He's been droning like a madman, going to be going up to 60 in the near future. This Void Ray working on some creep tumors, getting whatever it can. And the question is, how quick does Solar figure out exactly what's going on and know that it is going to be, Sky Toss that he's up against?
Yeah, I wonder what type of Sky Toss Nightmare is going to go as well. He's getting an extra Void Ray. The Fleet Beacon's going to finish up now, and the second Stargate will come out a little bit later, so we'll see what he wants to go with this. Adept's going to pressure the front for now. There's not too many Lings, so he could honestly go pretty far forward with this if he wanted to, but now this Ling counterattack also dealing damage on his side of the map means he's going to have to come on back home. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose a lot of his probes because he's only at 48 right now. Needs to make sure he can have a good economy to sustain what is going to be 2 Stargate Void Ray for now, and potentially even to Carriers or Tempest, and then obviously you really want to get that Mothership as well.
Yeah, great backstab, by the way, by Solar. Like, to be able to do that while you're being pressured is a great move there, and he actually ends up picking off more of Nightmare's workers than he loses. I also like the idea of pressuring with Adepts while you're teching into something, that needs to be scouted. It's difficult for the Zerg to deal with it and get that scout off, but Solar has his Spire going down. Good decision to not commit to that shade there, as tons of Lings were in wait.
Yeah, the Mothership is going to be the unit of choice as well, coming out first from that Fleet Beacon, so going to be rushing into that. This is something that a lot of Protoss players have been doing lately. It's a very strong unit. It's just very good utility, the cloaking and everything, and even going into massive Void Rays behind it. So he's going to continue with that Void Ray style, so going to really make it look like it's 2020 at this point with all the Void Rays going to be coming out. Of course, they're much weaker than they were back then, so it's not going to look exactly the same, and the Mothership is going to be helping out, but obviously, it looks like Solar's kind of put the pieces together, seeing just in general, the lack of units and just lack of tech and stuff like that. So he's kind of getting the fast Muta, or sorry, not the fast Mutas, the fast Spire for Mutas or Corruptors, depending on what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's always an interesting choice, kind of what anti-air do you go for as the Zerg? You have the Hydras, which are great against Void Rays, not so much against Carriers once they get upgrades and in larger numbers. And then you've got the Corruptors, which is the opposite, right? They're good against the Carriers, but poor against the Void Rays if they turn on their beams. So he does have the Spire. He hasn't made any Corruptors just yet. He's been droning a lot. He's up to 86 already. Going up to 5 bases right now, getting +1 missile and air upgrades. First round of Corruptors is now on the way as Solar sends in this Overseer.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit interesting, of course, since it is going to be a mass Void Ray start. It's not going to be straight into Carriers like some players do, and it's not going to be straight into Tempest like you also see where they maybe try to like harass with the Tempest in the dead airspace, try and like pick off drones because you can one-shot them and whatnot. So it's going to be that fast Void Ray with the Flux Veins as well to make them going nice and fast. Very interesting to see this. I wonder how much damage this can do, and Nightmare needs to be very careful because if he just walks into a giant flock of Corruptors out of nowhere, this could still get a bit tricky. But there's a good amount of Void Rays here. This could actually do a lot of damage.
They're going to absolutely melt. This hatchery is falling so quick. That is a base, guys, going down in like 4 seconds. They zap that one and will get out.
He can just run away because he's got the speed upgrade. That's crazy, actually.
The Corruptors cannot catch them, and with the Mothership as well. I mean, if you turn on Cloaking and there's no Overseer, there's no fight to be had there. This Oracle trying to prove this is worth making, getting 2 drones at some point in the game.
I did something.
I did my part.
All right, let's see what kind of transition we have, of course, or if he's just going to literally just make only Void Rays. That would actually be crazy if he just masses Void Rays like it's Wings of Liberty, dude. That would be insane. He's not stopping. He's literally just spamming out 3 Void Rays at a time. That's actually mental.
Hey, against Mass Corruptor, I
yeah,
kind of like it.
No, I agree with you. It's actually kind of the right play because, I mean, you don't want to just randomly start making Carriers against this right now because, yeah, there's no real need. The Carriers aren't going to do too much just yet. Actually going into, look, he's really thinking about this.
He's really thinking about this, yeah.
All right, the Protoss gears are working. How exactly does, what do we want? Is it this many? Is it 12 Corruptors? Is it, or sorry, 12 Void Rays? Is it 20? No, okay, we're gonna start going to Carriers.
Yeah, I mean, until there's Vipers out with Parasitic Bomb, just Void Rays into Corruptors should be pretty good, but the Queens coming along with this will help out a lot against the Voids. Queens, with the Transfusers can absolutely swing that fight in the Zerg's favor, and here comes Zola looking to hit this. What is it, Zola? Solar. Zerg Solar. Gonna hit this timing with a max out of Road Travager, Corruptor Queen.
All right, let's see what can happen here. Of course, we want to see that Mothership does trigger the Time Warp. It's going to make it very difficult. There it does go down. It's going to make it harder to micro around, but that Mothership just gets deleted out of the sky by all of those Corruptors. Now the Void Ray's trying to target onto those Corruptors as well. The Bile's trying to force them away. It actually will be able to kill some of these Void Rays. They're starting to fall. There's no batteries here either to heal, so it's going to make it very difficult. It looks like Nightmare is just dropping everything.
Yeah, the addition of the Ravages is great because just a few bios makes the whole Void Ray fleet move backwards and lose a ton of damage, and with that, Solo will just blast Nightmare out of this game with a very crisp anti-air timing.
I feel like we just got a really nice summary of the ZVP matchup in these two games. I feel like this is kind of what we've been
told the
seeing.
whole story.
Yeah, we get a ground toss game that just kind of fails, and then we see a sky toss game, and unfortunately, it doesn't really work either. That's a bit unfortunate. A lot of time we've been seeing it work here and there, of course, but yeah, it's been a bit rough for the Protoss coming up with these new builds and everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it was mass Void Ray, basically. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of one-dimensional in a way, but obviously strong units. But I think the Queens are kind of the Queen and Ravagers. Just first of all, the Queens heal all the Zerg units so much they make you fight much better.
Yeah.
And the Ravagers, just those bios are so annoying to deal with because you have to move. Like the Void just naturally clump on one spot, and then like a few bios come down. If they hit, the game can end.
Yeah.
AKA Serral Hero. That big game where you just got that massive bio that he was like losing that game. So you have to continuously move them out of the way of the bios, and there's a lot to micro. But yeah, good timing by Solar.
Yeah, it's interesting too because never mind. There's a plug. I was gonna say we need disruptors like in the 2020 era.
We need merch.
Yeah, we need merch with a disruptor on it. That would be cool. I would maybe wear that. But anyways, Tastosis shirts. You got RSL sweatshirts and hoodies and everything. You got mouse pads with gamer random references and things like that. Whatever you want, you can get it on tastedthreads.com. 20% discount as well for Patreon supporters. So yeah, go ahead and check that out for all the gamer swag needs.
Yeah, some good stuff over there. You also get a 20% discount if you are a Patreon member. Did you say that already?
I did say that, yes.
Well, I'm just saying it again. Just in case
someone didn't know already. Or
in
in case you muted me because you don't want to listen to me.
I think I stopped listening for a minute and I came back and I was like...
He muted me.
I was like, I've got nothing to say. I'll just see if Gemini said that or not.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to go to a little break. We're going to come back with more RSL after this.
And here, as we're going to have the first Reaper moving across the map here to try to scout and see what kind of damage can get done here. And, you know, Bunny played a much better late game, I think, than Lambo. But Lambo, again, you know, his whole thing was kind of hinged on actually breaking the Terran. And it looked like he was so close to doing it until chitinous plating was denied.
That was such an insane moment. Like, it completely changed the game.
Yeah. I mean, when you go from Roach Ravager to then a hard shift into Ultras with some infestors, I mean, that's when you're going to try to pierce like the third base or the fourth base and maybe shatter the Terran's economy enough that the next couple of attacks can probably zone them out of ever having a third base or a fourth base again. And that was denied. You know, you need the chitinous plating there on the Ultras so that they can kind of plow through the Terran's position, and he wasn't able to do that. So we're going to go into game 3 here and see, is this going to be a game that's going to look like that or not? Now, game 1 was weird because Bunny just, like, literally should not have been on the map.
Right, yeah, just wrong timing completely.
Yeah.
Anti-timing, like as Lambo's all in them.
Literal anti-timing where it's like, oh, this is literally the worst time to be on the map. Why are you doing this? Like, when you play a game of StarCraft, you do have to kind of both do the same dance. Like, you have to be, your strategy has to also, you know, it has to work with what they're going against, right? You can't have two builds or you both attack each other at the same time and someone's going to have a better army. But that seemed to come down to scouting. It seems like Bunny, though, when he's able to kind of have a read on what's going on, I think he played a pretty solid game all around.
Oh, I'm just looking at Lambo's build here. The other thing this build leads into nicely is actually 2-base muter. He's got a quick layer going down at about 310 or so. Adding in 2 more gases here. Oh, actually gets a drone there, does Bunny. You don't normally see that at this point in the game, but he will just sneak that third in while the Reaper was busy in the main.
Somehow this Reaper got away, too. It's still in the game. The Hellions are going to come in here now, too.
Yeah, Lambo's just got speed now, so we'll be able to deal with these. Actually choosing not to dive. And I've been liking what Bunny's done with going for these Viking openers every game. It limits the Zerg's information so much. And they're scouting on the map. You can see all these overlords that are on the pathways across the map. The Viking will send all of these home or just kill them. But this game, if Lambo goes mutas, which we do now see the Spire, it could actually be good for Lambo. You'll be able to kill that right away. And the question is, will Bunny be ready for these mutas? You can probably already suspect it by the very late third. And I think he saw the other gas when he went into the main.
Once again, is it a glitch in the Matrix? The Overseer is not going to be killed again here?
Oh, he only saw one gas. Oh, okay. So maybe he doesn't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a very, very different type of mid-game. Pretty much opposite of everything that Lambo's done up until now. The Viking is going to get the last shot there on the Overseer.
That's the worst. You tried to save it by morphing it, and then it still dies.
Yeah. You're like, all right, well. And it's not like the Viking had a whole lot else to do in the game anyway.
Right. It's his one job.
Yeah. And he's still going to kill Overlords over here.
Lambo actually didn't pull these Overlords back. He kind of needs to do that. We see the other ones returning now just above this position.
He's supply block now.
Yeah, almost.
Ooh,
oh my god,
what's
Ling's
up?
getting the main somehow. And there's nothing here except 2 Marines.
He said, stop killing my Overlords. He came out on the map. The SCVs are going to continue to chase.
Oh, this is so much mining time being lost.
Yeah, this is so bad right now. The Marines, by the way, they can't quickly chase this. You know, Lings are not bad against Marines. Looks like he does clear that out. But yeah, big interruption in the mining timing there. A scan comes down here, and I think you see the full picture. The Baneling's Nest and the Spire right next to each other, answering all the questions that the Terran would have had about what kind of tech this is.
Yeah, that Viking picked up 2 kills there. Very nice. Lambo does have his mutas out now, though, so this is his turn to kind of fight back and get across the map and do some harassment. The Terran can sometimes just try to push, but I'm not sure if Bunny will be doing that in the near future. The counter threat of these Lings, which were just shown to him, will probably make him not want to, but he is ready with turrets. He's got his Viking at home. I don't think he'll take a crazy amount of damage to the mutas. I think Lambo will be happy if he stays home so he can just get his eco going, get up into those high drone counts.
Okay. He is going to start to make these mutas. We got to see how much damage this is going to actually do. Excuse me. He should be ready for the mules to hit, but you always want to see, you know, when the mutas first go in there, how much damage can they do? Because there's usually a pretty steep fall off after that. You know, in a TVZ for what else can get done, right? Because after that, the Terran's kind of fortified against that.
Yeah, you kind of have the choice. You can make some mutas and then transition into ultras again later. They're just going to die this.
We're back. What's up, everybody? Thank you for waiting. Crazy short game so far. I don't know. It's wild. We've been live for like under 2 hours, and we're on the final best of 3 of the night.
Every series has been a 2-0 so far. I mean, will we finally get a game 3 here?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I would love to have one.
It'd be nice.
This matchup should be good, though. It's going to be Maru versus Solar. These two fighting for the last spot to survive out of this group. The loser is out. Crazy to say when you got 2 guys that are as notable as this. I think Maru should win here, but could be a crazy upset. We could have Solar advancing, and that would be wild to have Maru not even in the bracketed part of the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's just one season that he hasn't made it out of the group, so maybe 2. Like, it doesn't happen often, but Solar is definitely someone who can take a series off Maru, especially with things up in the air on the new patch. He's very capable of doing so. We'll have to see how it goes. Like you say, though, I think Maru would be considered the favorite here. As we take a look at the maps, we've got Necropolis, our new map voted in this season, Voidstorm, and then Celestial Enclave for the 3rd map.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I am wondering what kind of, if there are any kind of like weird curveball builds Solar could bring out here. Again, you know, the worker change does change all the openings. We are still in a very fresh state post-patch, right? I mean, there's a lot more discovery going on here than I think kind of concrete meta. So let's get into it, guys. Game 1 in the final best of 3 of the night with Maru versus Solar.
Yeah, the winner of this joins Rogue, getting out of this group, and the loser is out. So everything to play for right now. We have Solar in the top left, Maru in the bottom right.
Yeah, let's see what these two want to do here. Maru did have a pretty, to be blunt, pretty disappointing performance against Rogue. And, you know, some of that really was not just Rogue playing really well, but I felt like some poor decision-making.
Yeah,
we were talking about this a little bit on the break.
In game
like,
2, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Reaper run by, it's like, well, that's probably the worst of all possible decisions that you could make there, right? If you have a pin set up with your Reapers where they can't leave their base and they have to fight to take a 3rd, the last thing you want to do is throw the Reapers in there for, you know, a roll of the dice on whether or not you kill drones, and the possibility as well that they get surrounded and then they get killed off. And, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, once Ling speed is done, it can only basically go badly for you. Like,
Yeah.
those Lings are so fast, you're never going to kill a ton of drones, and then there's a huge risk that you just lose all the Reapers if you can't jump up and down the cliffs in the right way and kind of escape out of there.
You're better off like either sending them home after that or creating some kind of tactic on the map where maybe you can go in there and kill workers later on. But yeah, I mean, it just made for a very, very poor early game there.
Yeah, especially when you have 2 CCs at home. Like, it just makes no sense to dive there, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
Maru not kind of feeling like in his best form, perhaps, in the last series, but who knows? Maybe he'll kind of step it up here and show us the level that we know he is capable of, which he's brought to the RSL many, many times in various series.
Well, also, I think that at least with the worker change, and obviously there's been other big changes, including warp gates and everything else like that, but you know, some of this was kind of to spice up openings and bring in some fresh ideas and some fresh early game, and you know, but I never expected it would be changing who's on top or who's not. You know what I mean? I would still imagine Maru's a stronger player. Maru's been consistently better than Solar, although Solar is a player that can absolutely hold his own against him.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Right now we see a CCE going on the low ground, just a normal Reaper expand coming out from Maru, no crazy 2-racks Reaper or anything like that. Going to be playing a standard game here in game number 1.
Yeah, so we've got a couple Lings coming out here. Probably will be a pretty slow game as we get things started up here. You know, Terran is going to go for just the 1 Reaper to come out here and basically do some scouting. And behind this, it's going to be, you know, the expansion front-loaded with 1-1-1 tech.
Yeah, she gets 1 Ling there. That's nice. If you get a drone as well, that would be an amazing start. And a drone actually slipped out to the 3rd base while this is all happening, so Solar can get that going down nice and quickly here. I think he'll be happy with getting that out undetected. He didn't bring an SCV with this. Sometimes the Terran will bring an SCV with the Reaper to kind of make sure they can block the 3rd. Oh! Oh my god. Gets out on 1 hit there.
Yeah, never actually saw that drone there. Although, you know, when you don't see the 3rd base, the way that the Reaper left, you would just assume it's going to be up here around the 12 o'clock position. So that Reaper's going to go back home, and there's a 3rd command center made here. So this is, again, a great build to copy here. Just it's about as simple as it gets, but strong. You know, you're going to basically sit back and power up until you have your 8 racks. And probably when with a classical push, there's a possibility, I mean, there always is, with any Terran player, that this was like a mech transition out of this, but I feel like we don't really see that with 3 command centers in a mech. We've had it once or twice.
Yeah.
It's very, very rare, but almost always this leads into, you know, mass infantry and tanks and everything like that. Medevacs, Liberators, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. Like you say, this is a great macro build to copy if you just want to kind of versatile build that's, you know, like a kind of standard build that gets you in a very good position eco-wise and gives you chances to harass the Zerg with Hellions, and, you know, you can do it with Banshees or Liberators or, what, you know, the air units of your choosing. In this game, it's going to be the Banshees for Maru. This Zergling's actually going to get in the main and see the 3rd base. That is a huge scout from just 1 Ling.
You know, I got to say, I'm always a little bit surprised when pros don't have the command center far away enough that you just couldn't see that.
Yeah.
Like, I just think there's, you know, I'm not trying to be too critical here, but like...
There's also the Overlord coming in as well, so it's like, you've got to kind of pick the right spot, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, too. I just feel like, you know, in StarCraft, if you put every building into place, like, with a sense of purpose, like, you kind of thought out, even if it's, you know, simple stuff like a depot or, you know, the distance from a, you know, production building like barracks or factory from something else, just having that command center further back and leaving the possibility... due to lack of scouting, like maybe this is a weird 2-base game, or just, you know, there's some ambiguity is going to be helpful there.
Yeah, I think it's nice. Any information you can hide is great, right?
Yeah.
Keep your opponent guessing. Maybe they don't drone as hard as they could if they knew you were on 3 bases. I like the follow-up scout with the Overlord, by the way. He already knew about the 3rd, but with that scout, he gets to see the Banshee and the Cloak researching. So Solar has a very good kind of mental idea of what Maru's game plan here is in the beginning, at least. And he's added his Spore Crawlers in. He's going up to his lair. He's droning a lot. He's getting extra queens to deal with these Banshees. And yeah, he's just putting it all together. I like that Spore placement, by the way. Not in the middle of the mineral line, but on the very outside.
Yeah.
To kind of zone the Banshee away from the drones.
Yeah. The 3rd CC has already been landed. It's going to be populated down there with SCV soon here. We're basically just seeing some Hellions sweep the map here to try to keep the creep tumors suppressed here. What is that? A little Evo chamber? I guess there was a drone there that he was trying to not lose, so he threw that Evo chamber down. Ends up getting killed off anyways.
Yeah, actually slows down the 4th base of Solar there, so that's a nice little pick off.
Meanwhile, Stim's about to finish, although we're not going to have any kind of committed push, I don't think, from Maru. I mean, with a game like this, you're basically really trying to lay out all the building blocks. I think this is among the most straightforward builds you can have.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is basically the same thing you would have seen, pre-patch, right? It's just you get there in a different system. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see that push come out here. Nice cancel. Maru's really slowing this 4th base down. The timing of that 4th base is so important, right? I mean, that's really when you need to start getting the extra drones over there, and Zerg can really kind of explode into that 5th base after that.
Yeah, I'm kind of, that Sport Crawler is so to the side. I'm kind of wondering if he can fly behind it. Like, it's risky. You might get caught by the Queens and Overseer, but there must be a blind spot there where you can kind of blast some drones. But yeah, I guess it's just too risky to fly past. But Maru's done a pretty good job. He picked up a few workers, some creep tumors, delayed the 4th a bit. Trying to harass as much as he can while he powers up, getting that combat shield, getting that +1/1, adding in the armory now, so his 2/2 will be very fast as well. Solar's already got Bane speed finishing up, and he's going into Hydras this game.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see an attack, kind of like what we saw from Rogue earlier here. I mean, if Hydras start to come into play here, it's probably going to be one of these things where you try to basically focus down that 3rd base and try to drive him back. Because Terran's still in the phase where they're like trying to get all the building blocks lined up, so Zerg can kind of activate what they want to do earlier. There's a lot of ways to play ZVT when you get to this phase of the game, but this one seems to be trending today.
Yeah, I love that Maru's like controlled these Banshees very well and not lost them.
Yeah.
Later on in the game, you can kind of park these in expansion, and they'll deal with a lot of run buys. If Lings do try to backstab, something like that. The Marines come forward here, clearing out a lot of creep tumors, trying to thwart that creep spread as much as possible. You don't want to let Zerg get that to the middle of the map. The pushes suddenly become so much more difficult as the Terran player. Going to actually force a cancel there on this hatchery, being very annoying with these medevacs. Going to ferry over to the main here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have another drop coming in here on the other side of the map. Solar's not far away from having his attack ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a 4 Widowmine drop here. Hopefully not the bugged ones, as that makes his way over to the Zerg base there. That's going to be difficult to deal with. This might get a lot of damage if Solar is not in place for this. Okay, very fast evacuation on the drones. I like that. The Widowmines will burrow now. And basically they can only hit Queens. They're going to take out 3-4 drones. I think overall that's a win for Solar. Only losing 4 drones to a full medevac full of Widowmines. Nice pick off there.
Yeah, Maru's, again, doing a great job just kind of being annoying, kind of slowing the Zerg down wherever he can without really overextending. That's the most important part about this. Nice Widowmine connects there. Going to clear out a couple of Banes as well. And Solar is, just a minute or 2 away from maxing out here.
Solar's been macroing really well. He is fighting off creep right now, though. Got to be very careful. Does manage to set off all the mines, take some of those out. Maru forced to retreat right now. There's a little 5 Hellbat hit squad going to try and push in this space, but the Queens are there to meet him. Probably going to have to just turn around and run away. It's quite interesting to see Hellbat still alive at this point in the game, almost 10 minutes already. Yeah, usually they die at some point.
Hellbat's going to have like this moment where they appear in the game and they're like, we're not going to be here for long. It's like the Reaper, right? Early game. It's like eventually you forget that can even be made as the game goes on long enough. But yeah, this has been a lot of Hellbat presence for a while here. Okay, so Solar's basically maxed out. We've got Lurker Tech coming here. I really thought there was going to be an attack coming out, but I guess, the truth is that, Maru's been so active. It's really been Solar kind of running around trying to stop any real damage from coming in here.
Yeah, Solar will have a strong late game if he's able to get to Lurker Tech kind of uninterrupted. The Widowmines might do some friendly fire here. He's retargeting. Okay, they go off on a lot of Lings. Some of them fall in. Lots of Lingbane following up here. He's got to pick up here. He doesn't want to lose all of these Marines. And Maru's taking a 4th base behind this. We may be going to a real late game. Only 1 Hydra goes down to that. That was lucky. If that retargeted, it could have got a lot more, I feel like.
Yeah, got to be careful, man. There's a lot of Banes over here. The last thing you want to do is have one of those Widowmines hit, 5 or 6 Banes like that. Solar's taking his 6th base here at the top right. He's basically only got 1 more base on his side of the map. And Maru's just sitting solidly on 4 here. We're gonna reach that max out point. And this could be a game where Maru just goes for exhaust play. He is really not pushed. I mean, he's kind of come out and poked, but a poke is very different from a committed push where you're trying to come in here and basically flatten the Zerg out. He's basically just trying to come in here and trip the Zerg up and then escape to safety back at home.
Yeah, and I think Maru is literally the best Terran in the world at that exhaust play where you kind of sit back and defend for a very long time, get the ultimate army of ghosts and all the good bio units out. So if he's able to get there, he could be in a good spot. He's going for 3-3 right now. Adrenal on the way for Solar, as well as that Hydra Lunge upgrade. I love that one. Cancel on this base. The Banshee's still around in red HP, doing some work here. Maru's really had an emphasis on stopping some creep spread in this game, I think, and I feel like it's paid dividends for him. No Spore at this base. If he gets those on the workers, it could be big. We'll start to target them down now. Actually going to live with 1 HP there, the drones. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it takes out 4 and gets away. Again, the value you can get if you keep those Banshees alive. I did see a Nidus Worm for a second. We changed production tabs, but yeah, there's 1 Nidus. Does he have... I don't see an Overlord or a Zergling or a Changeling or anything that could, like, basically do this anything like inside. Oh, no, well, you're not going to put it there.
Yeah, I mean, Maru would see that one, but maybe he'll set something up around the outside of the map, and if you can get some lurkers in the main on top of the Terran production, that's the dream, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as you know, once you start to have the Terran kind of try to collapse back into its own starting location, that can be pretty good. Then you can hit the bases from the outside. For now, I mean, Solar's just swatting away attack after attack.
Yeah, good parasitic bomb on the medevacs, forcing everything to retreat. This 5th base wants to land, but I'm not sure if it will be able to for the moment.
It's funny, this game, they've basically spiked in supply, and then neither of them really attacked or made a move. They're both actually just piling up money in their bank accounts right now. It's like over 4K minerals for Solar, 1.2K gas. And Maru's got a lot on his side as well, obviously less than Solar, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, eventually this is going to have to reach some kind of climax. We're going to have to see things start to trade out, but so far it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the Lurker range upgrade just finished, so that may be the time where Solo wants to get something done. A lot of units coming out of this Nidus here. Maru is in position to see this attack away. The Nidus will go down, and this kind of failed here, but Solo has a lot of bank to work with. He can try this again and again, try to get Nidus up in different and multiple locations. And if he is able to get some lurkers in a good spot, it can really pay off for him.
Okay, it looks like he's going to try to...
6 Liberators in production at a time. Wow.
Yeah, he's going to come down and hit this pretty hard here. The kiting's pretty nice by Maru. He does lose a decent amount. As the attack is happening, Solar's basically just holding down production keys. So it looks like it looks like nothing's dying, but it's actually he's just remaking stuff that was killed off.
Yeah, great.
Go ahead, sorry.
So I was just going to say, good split off on that medevac there as well from the parasitic bomb. Continue with his upgrades, +3 melee on the way, +2 missiles, add in some more Banes. Maru's got like a decent base count though. Like if you're stuck on 4 bases of the Terran, that really feels bad. But if you get up to 5 and 6, that's kind of the point where you have enough to really go into the late game. And he's getting his building upgrades, all the extra kind of luxury Terran late game upgrades right now. That one Zergling blocking the base there is going to be going to have to get cleared out at some point. But here comes Solar again.
Yeah, he's coming down now, and I mean, there's no way to save this expansion. We see the Liberation Zones coming down, and as long as the targeting's there, he just wipes that out. But Maru, you know, quietly grows into the bottom left here as well. And this is probably the general direction this game is going to go in for now, where Terran's going to try to take these bases on the far left and in the middle right, and Zerg's going to try to come in here and just smash the position. But, you know, we've seen Maru be really crafty in games like this, where he kind of just trades out better, and then the Zerg, you know, has taken all of their side of the map. By the way, you know, the distance between the two sides, as far as where bases are, is pretty pronounced.
Yeah.
Like, there is no shared expansion. There is no side where you go, well, maybe Zerg would take, like, I don't think Zerg could take, like, the bottom left. Or the base above that, right? It just seems like you kind of get what's on your side of the map, and that's sort of where the story goes. So, Solar right now is in an okay position, but as the game elongates and goes on and on and on, I think Maru could end up winning in you know, a very Maru-like fashion, where he just sort of wins an exhaust play.
A lot of these Liberators going down as Solar fights for the Watchtower. I'm kind of surprised how heavy like how Liberator heavy Maru's going here. He's not got many ghosts, but he's been constantly making Liberators again and again and again. Can we have a look at the army count for Maru? I'm just curious what his composition is right now. Because he's been making like 3 Liberators at a time for a long time. Right now he has 8. He just lost a bunch of them. So I guess against Lurker Tech, that makes sense. You want to have a lot of these Liberators. All those Liberation zones going down there. Maru picks off a base here. Nice move with just the 2 medevac drop. Quite Marauder heavy down here. And he's starting to add in CCs everywhere. Get to that mass orbital late game that Terrans like to use. Drop all those mules. Sack some STVs at some point and get a ridiculous army. But here comes Solar once again.
Yeah, the Banes are going to come down here once more. And, you know, it just seems like Maru has enough. And you're really seeing, you know, when you can't get the creep spread out, it's hard to attack in. It's hard to run back away. You know, Maru can really exploit that.
Yeah. The problem for Maru is his bank's almost gone here. He's very low on minerals, whereas Solar's sitting at 6k, 2.6k.
Yeah.
So he can afford to remax a couple times here on cheap units. If Maru can get this base on the right secured, that would be great. But now the bottom left one is under attack as well as another Nidus goes down. And look at that income advantage for Solar here.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Sturgeon, because, like, you are right. Like, Maru's, like he's spending what comes in that moment.
Right.
But, you know, if Zerg could, like...
He's living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. But the reality is, you know, if he can just smash these exterior bases, maybe it does slow that economic engine down enough that he can kind of pull through with a win here. Because, again, until Maru is basically starved out, I think he really does just have a very realistic chance here.
Yeah, so nice lurker harass down here, but the Liberators come over to deal with that. With the scan, these Liberators will clear all of these lurkers out. Another big attack on the right side. Solar really trying to split the attention of Maru. The Banes come in, but there's ghosts in this army as well now. Maru's worked to a very nice composition that's like Liberator, Ghost heavy. Going to be able to deal with a lot of the late game Zerg tech units. And basically, Solar has a lot of money, and he has to kill Maru with it at some point, right? And if Maru can, you know, just survive and exhaust him out, keep all his bases, he may be able to come out of this game alive.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got these bases. By the way, there is one base that has gotten no love so far this game, but if we let's say we get to like 28 minutes, it's going to be the one right there that we're looking at now. So that's important to remember. Zerg's got everything that Zerg's going to get. I would love to see Solar try to take one of these bases on the side of the map, but I do think it's probably not feasible. And so what's going to happen now is Solar's going to come down here, and Maru needs to basically try to chew this army up as much as possible and hopefully not lose the base and kind of just stay in the game. Now, Solar's income is getting so high. He's at 7.7k minerals, 2.2k gas, and on some level you would kind of imagine he would have thrown everything at the Terran and then remaxed. Usually that's how endgame Zerg is played. Like supreme endgame, kind of like what we're getting here, where you're like, you know, you're there's almost no more upgrades to get, right? The tech tree is filled out, and you basically like throw everything in there and then try to remake it, and that's kind of the tipping point where you can get a Terran that is, as you were saying, Sturgeon, you know, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, here comes Solar again. He's taking out all the air units except the medevacs and some Liberators of Maru. The Ghosts make a retreat here. Maru making a stand at the natural.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about.
Right.
The play where you really just throw everything at the Terran. And notice at Zerg, I mean, they're trading things out, but he's basically producing the entire time. He's still over 7k, by the way. Yeah,
I think Solar may just be doing it here. Maru running out of gas, running out of steam. He has minerals, but he just can't spend them in time to replenish all his units. And
this is so sick.
He's getting on top of the production now.
Sorry, I kind of ran over you there.
Fine.
I was so excited seeing this. He's basically just going to go right towards the heart. Instead of trying to take out all these bases, that's kind of how I envisioned the win here. You know, I was kind of assuming it's like, well, he's going to have to just kind of, you know, keep shaving off the edges of the Terran's position. But instead, he's going to go right into the middle. Now he's going to seesaw this. Right when you think Terran might be able to you know, survive that final attack, he's now going to divert attention over to these bases.
These Adrenal Lings doing some work here. The Planetary may just go down. There's something's left. Okay, he will get it. Oh, also going to spray down this other CC on the right side. It's so difficult for Maru to defend both these bases at the same time because they're on the other side of the maps, and the Zerg units are so fast.
Yeah, he's going to try to come in here and save this. He actually miraculously does. The Liberators do end up driving that away. The problem is Terran is limping in this game. 65 supply. Zerg needs to basically wind up and do another attack immediately. I would say that there's probably a lot of ways to win this game, but I think the most straightforward one is probably to just hit the center right. He could go for the main, where all the barracks are.
It's kind of funny. There's like this kind of path right through the middle of the map to the Terran Natural where there's nothing really defended, no Sim City or anything.
Right.
And that's where you went the last time for the big attack. I like that choice. This time going to start to hit these outside bases. Ling's going into the 4th Maru, and all the rest of the army hitting this outside planetary. It will fall as...
No.
So many SCVs go down, 30 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I think he might tap out. Or maybe he stays in a little bit longer, but yeah, I would be a little bit worried for Maru here. I don't know that he's going to be able to recover here.
44 SCVs going down. It's not often you see that number that high.
Right, yeah, and you know, it's... He again, these periphery bases are where he's getting his money from. He's basically mined out everywhere else. I think there's like a couple of patches here and there, but... So we are truly in the twilight of this round. Like, I think that there's no way Maru can win. He's going to try the best he can to stabilize here, but I mean, this should be a pretty easy layup for Solar to just close this game out.
Solar even taking one of the bases of Maru. Any minerals you can suck away from the Terran side of the map is a win. The Terran army is still actually very big. It's almost 130 supplies, so you gotta, you know, take a few fights and remaxes as Solar here to actually close the deal, you know, close this game out, maybe just one remax. Here he comes now. He's going to attack in on the left side.
Yeah, and you can see the Marauders are going to be in the front. You know, the Banelings aren't, you know, optimal at what they're hitting, but, you know, you're kind of buying your way out of the you know, difficulty at this point in time in this game. I mean, he's just able to throw whatever he can and then remake it. Maru, you know, plummets to 126 supply. He's still got like 4 Marauders, 4 Marines making, with the production capabilities of Zerger absolutely insane right now. He's going to force a lift. Remember that the center right, he actually, I think, put a hatchery there. Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah, he took the hatchery there.
So he's just going to build here, and, you know, I doubt he'll be able to take that many resources from it, but you can't land a command center on top of a hatchery, and that's kind of, you know, the way that the walls are closing in on Maru in this game.
And he has that Nidus there as well, so he can just mine whatever he can get away with and then send the drones through the Nidus and, you know, relocate them to another base. The action just continues here. These guys are trading and trading, but even though Maru may be trading decently or even trading well, we see 7,000 resource difference lost here. But if you look at the eco for Solar, he's, you know, still got that eco advantage and has done for the vast majority of this game. 4K, 1.2K in the back. More Banelings crashing in on this bio ball. Is Solar finally going to break Maru here?
GG, that's going to be it. Maru could be getting knocked out of RSL. What?
Oh my god. In the group stage, tasteless.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Excuse me. That, I don't know, man. Solar looked really good. You know, the truth is, it's hard for Terran to push and really kill Zerg on that map. That's a huge map.
Yeah.
It did seem like the game was... if Maru had it his way, he would have basically kind of played like a tower defense game and just kind of kept building stuff out.
Right.
And the Zerg would have run out of resources. You would eventually have no way to make anything else. And then the Terran, you know, it's a slow but easy win from there. But Solar basically was able to lean on the money that he had. He sat with a crazy bank account for a long time. I actually was wondering, like, when is this attack going to happen? But I love that he went for the heart.
Yeah.
He went for the main. You don't see that a lot. A lot of games,
right.
It's like trying to crush this side of the map or that side of the map, and he went right into the middle, and that actually led into an opportunity where Terran was so busy trying to just protect the source of all the production that then finally those bases on the side were weak.
Yeah, I thought it was a really smart move because that's where the least buildings were, like through that path to the natural and then into the main. The heart of the Terran production. Once you get on top of that, the Terran can't, even if they have the money, you know, they can't actually make their units. They die one by one as they come out. And Solar took the whole map so quickly, by the way. Took all the bases all the way around the outside. Beautiful kind of late game prowess from him. As we move into map number 2, it's going to be the new map once again. It's going to be Void Storm, as we have Solar in the bottom right and Maru in the top left.
Yeah, so let's see what Maru's got in store for us here this time around. You know, and look, a lot of people have said Zerg's looking very strong in this iteration. It may be the case. You know, we're still unpacking the game. I mean, that's the beauty of these tournaments is we kind of get to see, okay, you know, what's working, what's not working. Is there one race that's going to be winning more than others? But man, that's going to be a blow for Terrans out there if Maru is taken out. Because the reality is Maru is, you know, for a long period of time basically carried the torch.
Yes.
Obviously, Clem is a god tier Terran as well, but sometimes he plays Protoss, right? So,
right.
you know, but, you know, if Maru can't survive into the bracketed part of RSL, I mean, is it just going to be aliens left over in the brackets? It's just going to be bugs.
Just going to be the bugs and the aliens, yeah.
Aliens versus Predator. You know, I'm a fan of that. But, man, yeah, I mean, right now, it's looking rough. Although I do think Solar played really, really well.
Yeah, not to take it away from him. He played it as well as he could. Obviously, the patch and the current balance always has an impact. Bjorn did make it through yesterday, and Clem is also remaining as well. So there's the chance for more representation. But, yeah, Maru going out would be a big blow for sure. But he's not out yet. He's one game down. We know Maru can turn a series around on its head. So let's see what he's able to do in game number 2. If he switches up his style or if he tries to go for this kind of late game approach again. I like the really Liberator heavy style he went for there. But I feel like for me, the Maru that never dies is when he gets like a big group of ghosts, you know?
Right.
And he's just sniping absolutely everything. Obviously, you know, the Liberators are great against lurkers. They don't shoot up. But yeah, we'll see what he wants to do here. We actually have 6 Lings running around the side of the map here. Going to dodge this Reaper. This is kind of GG Machine-esque. He was doing this in basically every game, but he was doing it with 4 Lings. This is going to be 6 Lings, so the potential for damage is a little bit higher here.
Yeah, it's a great way to basically kill the SCV that's making the command center and kind of pause the growth for Terran.
Yeah, that SCV will die. He's going to have to bring something down to deal with these. Here come the SCVs. I don't think that's quite enough, is it? The Reaper is coming home, so the Reaper plus the SCVs plus the Marine will be able to deal with this. The question is, how many SCVs does he lose plus the miner time?
Oh, my God! He's just getting so much damage. Remember, with less workers at the start, like that's a lot to lose, you know?
5 workers is huge.
5
if he gets one more.
Insane. Okay, 5 is the number. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, you know, it's like StarCraft, the economy, it starts, it's kind of about momentum, right? I mean, when you have less workers, then less money's coming in, you have less money to spend on the next thing. So, I mean, 5 workers down in what, we're like less than 4 minutes into this game, that's a lot, dude. And the command center was slowed down.
Yeah, the growth is kind of logarithmic, right? Like like every worker you add makes another worker quicker, and then you know it grows and grows and grows, and suddenly it explodes and you max out. But yeah, losing 5 this early is such a big blow to the eco.
Like
and the CC.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the
has
thrill.
Been cancelled.
Yeah, that's the thrill of the game, is just being able to kind of balloon out and grow and I mean, this is so bad. And by the way, the command center was not restarted, right? Oh no, it was. Okay, just now. Wait, what?
No, that one was cancelled. And
there is
can we see the main of Maru here?
I know there's a couple bugs in this game, and now is there? He doesn't have another command center, right? I'm not insane. Okay.
Yeah, he cancelled it and is just going to do a crazy 1 base all in here. Hellbat.
Yeah.
Okay, he's healing up these Hellions.
Yeah, I mean this is wild. For some reason in my head I thought like, okay, surely there's a command center, but so basically that attack has made Maru ditch.
Oh,
he sees it now. He's going to ditch any attempt at a macro game. He's going to try to have some kind of a power spike. We'll see if he even gets that. This could fail miserably. And try to win the game that way. And what the win conditions are here for Solar is to just not die or take crippling damage.
Yeah.
If he can just kind of shut this down, I don't even know that Terran's going to stay in the game. It's going to be a Hellbat timing. Okay, interesting. Now, I don't know what is here to fight this. I see some Queens running behind soon-to-be Spine Crawlers.
Spine Crawler dies. There's Lings coming out, but Lings can't fight this many Hellbats. There's 4 Queens here with the Spine. Is that enough?
Does he have Transfuse?
Okay, the medevac focus down. That's huge. Now these units cannot be healed.
Okay, he does use a Transfuse and a Queen. A lot of times when the Hellbats are here, it's kind of about just splaying the units out. There it is, GG.
Wow.
Whoa, Maru's out.
That was insane.
Oh my god. Great play by Solar.
Yeah. I like the 6-ling move, but I've never seen Maru lose like that. Like,
yeah.
in
yeah.
ZVT.
Well, I mean, you know, the openings are all different, and but the idea was it's not a new idea, right?
Right.
The Ling run around. When you get one Reaper like that, there is a general weakness, right? And,
Yeah.
and that is on the SCV that's making the command center on the low ground. You can make. I have a cough button. I gotta use that. You can make the command center in your main.
Right.
You don't have to make it out there. And if they send Lings around, then you go, okay, then I'll be fine. But losing 5 SCVs in a game where you start with 8 workers is
brutal.
Yeah, and basically Maru had to make a tough decision there. He had to decide, am I gonna play in a race where I'm really, really far behind and try to play catch up, or does it make more sense to try to do something super decisive and basically hit in a moment where maybe the Zerg is just droning up and you can do it. But guys, Maru's out. It's going to be beyond repping the Terrans right now for people that have survived. Solar moving on. It's going to be Serral, Rogue, and Solar. And is this an RSL?
Where's all the Protoss?
Where's all the Protosses? Well, they're in Group C
That's
next
true.
week. By the way, no matter how we cut it, no matter what the results are going to be, we're only going to have 2 Protosses advancing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's no Protosses in Group D. Only Terrans and Zergs. So, yeah, it can only be 2 out of Group C at a maximum.
Yeah. So we're going to have Classic, Trap, Shin, and Hero. And, and here's our schedule, guys. By the way, the finals of RSL Season 6 is at BlizzCon?
BlizzCon.
It's going to be so sick.
Oh, man. The
Already-
hype is real, dude.
We're
StarCraft
so
back on the
happy.
big stage. We are so back, dude.
When Blizzard asked me to be part of the Classic Cup, which I'm super excited. I'm super happy to go back to BlizzCon. I was kind of like, maybe, while we're there, since
Cheeky
I'm
bit of-
there, you
cheeky
got a
little bit of
stage. I was like,
RSL.
maybe we could do it at BlizzCon. Maybe. They're like, oh, that's a good idea. We'll go check and see. And we got it.
Awesome.
We got it. So be sure to join us every weekend until we finish up everything but the finals. The show starts at 6 p.m. KST. So we got the time zone here for everybody in India that's watching. We got the Delhi time zone there. So if you're used to tuning in at one time, now you know when to tune in here. And we'll see what time zone Ziggy puts in there next. What?
Ziggy's doing a little trolling this
I think we
season.
got to go with some island time zones. North Pole?
North Pole? Yeah.
We got it. In Greenland. What time is it there?
I wonder what the most extreme country we have some viewers in is. Maybe
we got a couple from everywhere. It feels like in my experience, I get people tweeting at me from all over. Anyways, be sure to join us for that, guys. Archon Studio has been supporting us since the beginning, and we are so grateful to have their support. So check out the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. They are continuing to release editions of this. We have all of them right now in our studio. They look amazing. Ziggy's been painting them up. Look, these would look great, on the shelf by the PC, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can actually play a real game with your friends with this. So, I would check them out. This is maybe the coolest StarCraft fan collector's item ever that there is.
Yeah, so well made. Looks amazing. I mean, it's a must-have, really, if you're a collector of either tabletops or just kind of StarCraft memorabilia. Really good pickup. Also, guys, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ReviveSC2. Thank you so much to everyone supporting the RSL through the Patreon. You guys are what keeps this going. Of course, there's a bunch of different perks depending on how much you want to contribute there. You got your replays. You can vote on new maps that the pros will play on. You can vote on what pros will actually be in the tournament. You can get merch like the poster we handed out last year, signed by all the pro gamers and the staff. Ton of different perks over there on Patreon. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And, let people know about the RSL. I feel like a lot of, especially fans that are older, right? I mean, everybody's got jobs or families and everything. A lot of people don't know that we're we're out.
Right.
You know, we're kind of the newest.
We're out here.
We're the newest tournament on the block in a lot of ways, and we would love to have our league expand. So let people know. I mean, there are people that check Team Liquid or Reddit, but frankly, most don't, right? There are people that just kind of find us on Twitch. There are people that, we were grateful Blizzard featured us in the Battle.net launcher, but we're still trying to get out there. So let people know. That's another great way to help our Patreon. We've got merch if you want to buy some RSL hoodies or T-shirts. We got them. We got all sorts of stuff on there. It is a discount for Patreon supporters as well.
Yeah, definitely loads of cool merch to check out over there. Get yours while it's in stock, especially if you're XL. As Asus was saying earlier.
I'm telling you guys, the XXXLs are selling out,
they
man.
are going, man.
I know my audience. We haven't sold a single S or M yet. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next weekend. We love you. Bye-bye.